Hi, I'm Ray. My pronouns are he, him for today, and you're listening to Insert Quest here. Today's quest is going to be a playtest of Live, Love, Die, which is a mecha RPG that is inspired by Powered by the Apocalypse, that I am, or rather, uses rules from Powered by the Apocalypse that I am currently writing and working on, and hoping to get a playable draft done by the end of October, so I can take it with me to PAX. I'm just going to have our players introduce themselves now, starting with Ryan.
Hi, everybody. I am Ryan. My pronouns are also he, him. And you may know me from Rag-NERD-Rok, where I am a player, sometimes GM.
Excellent.
And I am Alex. I am also he, him, and I am also from Rag-NERD-Rok.
Excellent.
Or I also sometimes GM.
Yes, and sometimes you come and you play games here. Oh, and Ryan, what's GM'd a game for us? A campaign.
Yeah.
I did.
It was a good game. If you want to check that out, go look up our Gods and Monsters game. So, before we get into the playtest of this game, I want to talk about safety tools. Now, this is something that we discussed adding in on Quest Markers, which is our Patreon-only podcast, where we talk about developments with the podcast and things we're looking to include. We've started using safety tools in the player-focused arena of our games for a little while now. It's particularly played prominent in our playthrough of Blades in the Dark. About halfway through, we started using the X card. So I'm just going to talk about our safety tools now. So we do our best to ensure that our players have a safe, enjoyable time on our show, and a lot of that comes from our discussions that happen before we even start recording. We also use the X card rule during play as a way to help communicate at the table. The X card rule is an optional rule that can be included in any game. We have placed a card in the middle of our play space, or in the case of this online game, we're going to be using X's in chat and also saying X over audio, just because we don't have a virtual tabletop for this game. If anything makes anyone uncomfortable in any way, they can activate the X card. They can press X in chat or say X card, and they do not have to explain why they're using the X card. It doesn't really matter why they're using it. Whenever they do use it, we'll simply move on from that X carded thing. If there's ever an issue, anyone can call for a break, and we can talk privately about what that issue is. You can also feel free to message me privately if there's anything that is making you uncomfortable in the game, and we can work out that. We also want you, the listener, to feel safe. So if anything we do makes you uncomfortable, you have our explicit permission to stop listening. You can always come back later if you want to, but take a moment to make sure that you're safe. If you want to talk to me about what it was that made you uncomfortable, please leave a comment, or you can message me privately at insertquesthere@gmail.com, and I will respond promptly and with sensitivity. So without further ado, though, I think we're going to get into play. I think I'll do a brief explanation of what Live, Love, Die is. Live, Love, Die is a mecha romance RPG that explores the emotional bonds formed between mech pilots and their AI support module. It also explores wicked neat mecha, because I like mecha, and I like mecha narrative. I've pulled a lot of inspiration for this game from my recent rewatches of Gundam 00 and Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, as well as Aldanoa Zero, a little bit, although not as much. Also, I'm very much love the game Titanfall 2. And there's also a fair bit of inspiration in this game from Terminator 2, the best Terminator movie. And lots of other inspiration. Obviously, I'm pulling inspiration from everything I've ever seen when I write a game. But those in particular stand out within the game. This is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. So we're always going to be describing what our characters are doing first, and describing what we're hoping to achieve and things like that, and hopefully describing what that looks like. And then if it calls for a move, if it lines up with one of the moves that I've already written, then we will execute that move. In this game, the facilitator, that would be me, is referred to as tactical. So when it says ask tactical, that is you will be asking me, or if it says tactical chooses, that would be me. Our pilots will be role playing, or our players rather will be role playing as 2 characters each. So you'll be playing your pilot, and then the person to your left will be playing your AI. The AI doesn't have a lot of mechanical interactions, but they do have a lot of role-playing significance. There's actually a table on page 1 and 2 that lists the agendas for the pilots, the AIs, and tactical. So we might just read through those now. So, Alex, if you could read out the pilot agendas for me.
Sure. So the pilot agendas are to take on the odds, teach your AI your ways, fight for what you believe in, be an active member, be an active member or participant of the story.
I think that should be and
that makes more sense.
So let's fix that typo.
Ask your AI for help and help your team.
And Ryan, would you like to please read me out the AI agendas?
Certainly. So the AI agendas are to help your pilot reach their goals, to discover what being alive means for you, to ask your pilot for help, to reach out to other AIs, and to ask the pilot to fulfill your desires.
Yeah, excellent. And then we have Tactical's agendas. So Tactical, being me, has the agendas of be a fan of their story, meaning the pilot's and AI's story. Give them new challenges to overcome. Remind them why they fight. Take synergy from them, and synergy is a resource and stat that we'll discuss a little bit in a second. Provide them with new weapons, complicate their lives, and give them interesting rivals. And then we also have inflict harm and conditions. We'll explain what harm and conditions are in a little while, but harm is in more depth in a little while. But harm is basically hit points from other RPGs, and conditions are modifiers to the pilot's emotional state or the mech's functionality that limit its abilities to act. So that's pretty good stuff. So before we actually begin play, there are some setting questions, and some of these are not finished yet, so we'll see how we go. Where are they? Here we go. Setting questions. So we might have to add some more to these, but we'll see how we go. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Nope.
No, sounds good.
Excellent. So my first question is, are you soldiers or mercenaries? Do you fight for sport or glory? Do you fight out of necessity? Or are you forced to fight? Are you bandits or pirates? So those are all actually the one question. We're trying to define what kind of narrative we're going for here. So are you soldiers? And if you are soldiers, are you mercenaries? Or are you gladiators? Because those tend to be the two main types of mecha narratives. Either it's Robo Jocks or it's Gundam.
Yeah.
Or rather, either it's Gundam 00 or it's Gundam Build Fighters.
G Gundam was another weird arena one.
Yes.
The true power was love.
I mean, that fits with this game at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with soldiers. I don't know about you, Ryan.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
Cool. So are you soldiers in a military? Or are you soldiers for a private company? Are you soldiers for a mercenary organization? Are you soldiers in a pirate band? Are you soldiers of fortune?
What do you think, Ryan?
I do kind of like the idea of a private company that hires out mecha mercenaries.
Yeah,
Sure. So you're the bad guys in Titanfall.
yeah, basically.
But that doesn't necessarily mean we're playing as bad guys, though. It just means that you're from a mecha mercenary organization. So we'll probably explore what that is in play. But I'm interested in knowing what what do you think most of the people, most of the mecha pilots in your organization fight for? Do you think they're primarily motivated by money, or are they primarily motivated by glory or a love of combat? Are
Oof.
they in it for the love of the game?
Hmm. How psychotic is our unit, Raya?
I mean, I don't know if we want to go too psychotic. Maybe some of us are in it for the money. Some of us are in it for the pure adrenaline thrill of strapping yourself to a robot and punching things or firing missiles at things.
In the
Um,
recruitment posters for your mercenary organization that they have in bars and stuff near like marine camps, um, does it highlight the glory of combat, the money you can earn, the freedom that a soldier of fortune is afforded, or does it sell you on traveling to exotic places?
I think it goes for the freedom.
yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Nothing is more like alluring than the ability, to strap yourself into a robot and do whatever
And
you like,
and
basically.
and make fate for yourself, to quote
Exactly.
Terminator 2, or paraphrase. No fate but what we make
What we
in our
make.
giant mechs.
Mhm.
Cool. So I think that's pretty satisfactory answers. Satisfyingly answers the first question, and it just occurred to me that I should probably get out a notepad uh, and start taking notes about the game, not about the playtest, because playtest notes will go straight into the document. And I want a pen. Do I have a pen here? I only have texters and pencils. I guess I'm using the pencil. So soldiers, or rather mercenaries. Let's write mercenaries because that'll be easier. Mercenaries. Cool. And freedom. Cool. So the next question is, are you low ranked or high ranked? Are you fighting aces or grunts? Are you outside the command structure altogether? I don't think we need to worry about outside the command structure altogether because you're mercenaries and you've
Yeah.
just said that that your organization hires you out to other companies and things. So are you low ranked, high ranked? I think will be how we begin.
I like the idea of us being low ranked. We're like the janitors of geopolitics.
Wow, nice.
We
I'm
get
kinda
sent in to clean up shitty situations.
Yeah, I like
Right.
that. All right, boys, you're off to Sri Lanka. Um, cool. So you're low ranked. Do you think that your characters are known fighter aces, or are you relatively new to being mecha pilots?
Um,
And we can split the difference here if you're interested in exploring that pilot dynamic. Like one of you might be an ace and one of you might be a grunt. Maybe your mercenary company does apprenticeships.
I was feeling like my character isn't necessarily an ace, but he's experienced.
Sure.
So, like, he's been doing this for years, but he's not like an ace. He's not like no one's talking about how great he was. He survives.
Yeah, you are a survivor through and through, but that's about it.
The company's not selling little models of your mecha.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure. So I've put down that Alex's experience. Ryan, what are you thinking?
Um, In that case, I do like that other the opposite dynamic of maybe I'm a rookie,
Sure.
and I've been partnered up with Akas's character because he's been in it for years.
Show you the ropes.
Yeah.
That should be. I think that will very nicely detail a lot of what this first session will end up being then. So I think that works pretty good. I think the next question would be, are we on Earth in some far future, or are we on some other planet? And I think I have a few other questions that'll come off of your answers to that.
Alien planet or Earth? I'm thinking alien planet.
Okay. Yeah, I think it could get real dark if we're going with Earth. So let's abstract that a bit.
Sure. So we're on an exoplanet. Now, you said alien planet. Do you envision that there are aliens? Do they have a civilization? Or is it, or is that not the kind of game we're going for?
Maybe not this one.
Look, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I definitely envision that you can play this game as Voltron without forming into a giant robot. Like,
Yeah.
you could definitely play as we're the Voltrons, but we're the Voltron Paladins, but we're just the Lions. Like, you don't turn into one combiner machine.
Right.
So that is why that is an important question. So we're on an exoplanet. There's no indigenous species. Well, there's probably like alien things, but there's not like a civilization.
There's animals. Yeah, there's
no
advanced
alien civ. Cool. So is humanity spread out through the stars, or is this just the only other habitable planet we've found so far? Is it this and Earth, or this and the solar system?
Ryan, you pick.
Maybe they've got like jump gates of some kind, so that way we can always take things off planet if we get hired out to someone, halfway across the galaxy on a different world. Maybe
Sure.
maybe that way we can
do some sweet flight maneuvers.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you want to, it's a one-off. Bring aliens in it. That way, it's not like a constant thing where.
I think for our little mini campaign, we'll have no aliens.
Okay.
Seeing as we've detailed that, but yeah, so there's jump gates, which implies technology that does that. So jump gates.
It's not the Stargate, it's a fog
gate.
God, I love your freaking white hole fiasco. It's so good. So there's jump gates, and humanity is spread out amongst the stars.
Yeah, there's been a diaspora.
Yeah. Spread to the stars. Cool. Is this new world still a frontier, or with like maybe one city or something on it, or is it similarly developed to Earth?
I think it's frontier.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Excellent. In that case, we need a name for this frontier planet, and I'm just going to say that it is as environmentally diverse as Earth.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What sort of naming convention would we want to take, Ryan? Like naming planets after historical figures?
Welcome to Planet Nelson.
We could steal a page from Firefly and pick a Shakespearean character.
Yeah. That could be a fun time.
Macbeth.
Well, you've cursed the AP now, so.
Yeah. Wait, no.
I mean, I don't mind.
Was it Macduff? Is the one that defeats Macbeth?
Yeah, we could call it
Yeah.
Macduff. I'd say we could call it New Caledonia, but New Caledonia is a place on Earth. So
New Caledonia.
New Caledonia.
We could. I was just playing Elite Dangerous, and there's a star system named Mike.
Nice. Where's the star system name? Oscar.
How about Oscara?
Oscara? Sure, that could be cool.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm cool
it
with
might
that.
be. I have an interesting thing, and I think this is pulled from the miniatures skirmish game Infinity, but it could be that this world has two names. It could be Oscara and Macduff, because there's two, like, nations fighting over this planet.
I like it. Two different groups have claimed it, gave it two different names.
And then, like, you immediately know where people fall politically by what they call the planet.
If they call it Oscara or Macduff. Yeah, I like it.
Oscaro or Macduff. Sweet. Can't wait for these Scottish, Spanish ethnic people, and then, like, whatever the fuck the Oscaros are. It'll be a fun time. Cool. I think that's probably enough setting material. I think seeing as it's a frontier world, it's going to be pretty clear that what people will be hiring you. Probably people trying to secure their claims and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that your mercenaries are outside of the Oscaro Macduff conflict, as in they don't pick sides in that war. So, like, 1 week you might be fighting for the Oscarians, and the next week you might be fighting on the side of Clan Macduff.
Yeah, whichever one's paying more.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
That'll be cool. All right, excellent. So now we actually roll into the character creation part of this. So to begin with, I've got to scroll all the way back up. Now, some of this isn't quite organized properly, so we might have to jump around. But we'll just have to do our best. To begin with, you detail the relationship between yourself and your AI. So that could be that you're lovers. You and your AI might be in love. It could be that you have a parent-child relationship in either direction.
So I have a question. When I was reading the rules before, I wasn't quite sure.
Yes.
So is the AI like in our head, or is it installed in the mech?
The AI is installed in the mech, so that's something I'll need to clarify.
So like can we talk to them outside of that, or only when we're in our mech?
That will fall under part of detailing your look. There's a part where you define how your AI communicates with you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
but it lives in the mech. It's not like Halo, where it lives in a chip in your head.
Its processes are within the mech.
Okay.
It can in emergencies remove itself, like by downloading off-site. That is part of the death move for the mech.
Yeah. So.
But it is important to note that the AI's consciousness lives in the mech, but the AI is not necessarily the mech. You can view it as it's your co-pilot, but your AI might feel that the mech is its body.
Right. But you could, like, theoretically, in base, safely uninstall the AI from one mech and put it in another one.
Yeah, you could totally change chassis if that became a thing.
Okay.
You wouldn't really change. You wouldn't actually. There wouldn't be like a role for that, because you'd still be using, like, it'd be the same mech on paper.
Right. Yeah.
but you could definitely tell that narrative of transferring it to a different mech body.
Okay.
But yeah, so we detail the relationship, and we'll probably also want to explore how long you and your AI have been together. I think it might be interesting to start with Ryan, just because Ryan is going to have an interesting dynamic being a new recruit.
Okay.
So what kind of relationship are you thinking might be interesting to play with ACOS for your pilot and your AI?
All right, I'm his AI and he's my AI,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Because we have two players, you will be playing each other's AI. It is normally the player to your left plays your AI, but we have two players, so you're both to each other's left for narrative purpose, for mechanical purpose, rather.
Yep.
I do kind of like the what if we were like, since you're going for the grizzled veteran, I'm just at the beginning of like a flirtation with my AI. Like we're young lovers. It's new, it's fresh, and we're passionately into each other.
Sure. So you and your
Okay.
mech are crushing on each other.
Basically.
Nice. I like that. So
Okay.
just, I would, Ryan, you might want to make note of that on your character sheet. And Alex, you might want to, it occurs to me that when I make the character sheets for this, I'm going to need a place for, I think it's going to need to be a place to record information about your mech, but also information about about your AI, but also information about the AI you're role playing as.
Yeah.
So that's something I'll have to think of, just so that someone can remember what they're doing.
Is it a male or female voice, Ryan? Or I guess
or
identify.
other.
Yeah. Or other.
Something else.
I think my character is a woman. I think maybe my AI hasn't decided.
Sure. So that means, yeah, so we'll get to record the name of your AI and record the pronouns of your AI. So in a little
sorry,
bit.
I was jumping ahead.
No, that's fine. It's perfectly all right to jump ahead. I'm just saying that I will remind you at that section that Alex has chosen, that Ryan has chosen
Right.
they them pronouns for their AI or some other pronoun set.
Right. Okay.
They them is fine.
Yeah.
For now.
Cool. Sweet. So we've detailed our relationship. Now we give our pilots a name and record their pronouns. I don't have examples for pilot names yet. And the pilot
should I give Ryan my AI?
Yes, sorry, I forgot
to
do... Yes, we've got to detail Alex's relationship with his AI. So what are you thinking?
So I was thinking more, because my character's been at this longer, that his relationship with his AI is sort of like an older married couple.
Nice.
Like they obviously they care for each other, but it's more it's not like romantic necessarily. It's like his AI is always reminding him, like, you have to, make sure you go to sleep, don't drink too much because you're gonna be hungover tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, doting's the wrong word, but like,
yeah,
watching out.
Yeah, I think I don't know if we can distill that down into one word, so I would just say old married couple.
Yeah.
Perhaps with a plus sign next to it to denote that it's a positive old married couple relationship, as opposed to a negative old married couple relationship.
Like they've been at this so long that it's like they know each other so well that it's more like making sure that the other one's doing what they're supposed to, instead of getting to know them because they already know the other one.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool. That'll be interesting to explore as well. So now we move on to give your pilot a name and record their pronouns. So what names are we thinking?
Are these like call sign names or like actual names?
So you have a call. They can be your name and maybe a nickname, but your call sign for your mech is chosen by you and the AI together, because it refers to you as a fighting unit. No one, when tactical or command or HQ or your clients or whatever are talking to you, they will refer to you as a combined unit.
Gotcha.
So they won't say we need to send Ethan and Victoria to the left flank, and we'll send Kaiser and Force Multiplier to the right flank. They'll say, we need to send Goth Girlfriend down the right flank, and we're going to send Brute Force up the middle. Right? They'll refer to you by your, your call sign refers to your mech. In the same way that if somebody was contacting like a bomber, they'd refer to the bomber's call sign as opposed to the individual pilots. Or a tank.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. My pilot is named Tessa Albrand.
Tessa Albrand is a very Code Geass kind of name. And your pronouns are she, her, I take it?
Yes, she, her.
Cool.
I went to a name generator and I got 2 good ones.
Combine them into one really long name.
I'm going to go with Alistair Calderon.
Alistair Calderon?
Yeah.
Yes! And your pronouns?
He, him.
Cool. Excellent. This should be good. So now we give our AIs a name. So that you would be giving the AI that you're role-playing a name.
And Ryan, you said your AI doesn't have a gender yet or hasn't picked a gender?
No. They are fresh out the assembly line.
They are still exploring gender and how it relates to them. So I think Ryan said
I just
they're
came
going
into consciousness 2 years ago. I haven't figured out 2 days ago. I haven't figured out gender yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually worth asking a question about. Ryan, how long do you think that... Actually, I need to write down your character names. Can you drop your character names in the chat for me?
Sure. I don't know actually if I can access the chat because I'm in Hangouts on my iPad.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
So what was your name, Ryan?
It is Tessa Albrand. ALBRENDT.
ALBREN?
RENDT.
DT.
Ryan is Tessa.
And Alex, you probably dropped yours in the chat.
Yeah, that's in the chat.
ALISTAIR. How long has Tessa and their AI been together? Did you go through basic, or whatever the training was to join this force? Did you literally meet a couple of days ago? What do you think is the most interesting to you?
I like the idea of us having gone through basic, like maybe like a 10-week training.
Yeah.
And now I'm on assignment with Calderon as my my apprentice buddy, or
your master in this context.
Right.
Michael suggests that the relationship tag for Alistair and their mech should be nagging.
That's why I don't feel it's not. I don't feel like it's nagging. It's like because nagging seems negative. Like,
yeah, fair enough. A positive mooded nagging, but
right.
Yes.
Like that's why originally I was thinking doting, but that seems too one-sided. Like like the AI is just always like following him around and making sure he's okay.
Yeah.
I come up with a good word for it.
Are you like a sitcom husband where you're like constantly forgetting everything and screwing up, and they have to?
No, it's more like Alistair is he doesn't want to be here anymore, but like he's signed for X number of years, so he's like counting down the days until he's done.
And and whatever your AI is, they're just trying to get you through it.
Yeah, but like she's also trying to help him stay a little positive.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And not just.
I think supportive might work because it sounds like you're both supportive of each other.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I think it's supportive. So what are we thinking of as a name for Tessa's mech? For Tessa's AI?
I'm thinking something neutral, like maybe Morgan.
Morgan? Sure.
That could be.
And if you want to type that out in chat with all of the leet speak characters you want in your AI's name?
According to this list of popular unisex baby names, apparently Spencer is a unisex name, which
I'm not into that for an AI.
That doesn't sound right.
Spencer sounds like the kind of AI that would strangle you in your sleep. Sorry, Spencer.
I can't let you do that, Tessa.
No, Spencer, no!
Spencer, enough about the s'mores.
Open the mech bay door, Spencer. Open the mech bay doors. So you're going to be...
Or, well,
Morgan?
Ryan, Morgan or Zephyr?
Ooh, I like Zephyr.
Zephyr's
sounds like
good.
an AI name.
Mostly because I won't be able to hear Morgan without thinking about my dog.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Playing
So Ryan's
as
AI is Zephyr.
And what are you thinking of for the AI that you're going to be playing, Ryan, which will be Alex's AI?
What is your AI's gender?
She thinks female.
Okay,
she rolls with female. Cool.
Yeah.
I could also go. I'm gonna go Shakespearean again and go with Reagan.
Reagan? How do I spell that?
R-E-A-G-A-N.
R-E-G-A-N?
R-E-A-G-A-N.
R-E-A-G-A-N.
Didn't she kill her dad?
And Reagan's pronouns are she, her. Aren't
She,
they?
her.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say that about a lot of Shakespearean characters. Didn't blank kill blank?
You might have named them earlier, like in your relationship, when you had a rivalry with your AI.
We got off to a rocky start.
Yeah, cool.
If I'm remembering the plot of Lear correctly, she exiled him. Maybe she tried to have him killed.
Exiled.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So next we go to call sign. So we got to pick a call sign for our mechs. Actually, I think I'm going to make a call sign for your mech to the last thing you do after you've made your mech, because once you know what modules you're going to have, it's going to be easier to think of what you'll be doing. So next we pick a demeanor for your mech, for your pilot, and a demeanor for the AI that you're playing. So the pilot demeanors are, for those at home, because these actually have a list, the pilot demeanors are hot-headed, edgy, flirty, rambunctious, zealous, cocky, uncaring, shy, obsessive, stoic, chatty, magical, and old. So those demeanors they don't have specific mechanical benefits, but they come from that list for somewhat of a reason. But there are things you can do to change your demeanor later on. But for the most part, these indicate the overall kind of personality of your pilot. So if you're flirty, you're probably flirty with everyone, not just your mech. That doesn't necessarily mean you date or want to become romantically or sexually involved with everyone. It just means that you have a flirty personality. So yeah, these kind of describe your personality, and your demeanors change when you have a brush with death and survive. Your demeanors will shift to something else. So I will start by picking our pilot demeanors.
Oh, I already went with old. That seems to...
Yeah, you're old. Your demeanor is old and crotchety.
I think I'm going to go with cocky.
You're cocky? Nice. So now we pick so record that, and now we pick our AI demeanors. So the AI demeanors are protective, paternal, innocent, aggressive, calculating, curious, rude, caring, cautious, distant, talkative, divine, and ancient. There's a lot of C's in the AI demeanor for some reason.
So now, are we picking the demeanors for our AIs or the ones we're playing?
You're picking the demeanors for the ones you're playing. I am gonna have to try and work out some kind of language thing to some kind of naming convention to indicate when you're talking about the AI that you role play and the AI that is in your pilot's mech.
Right.
So, I'm gonna have to work on that. I don't know what I will use for that term, but that is a problem I will need to solve in order for this game to be comprehensible. So yeah, the one that you're playing as. So in your case, you and the cocky recruit are flirtatious with one another. So what are you thinking for your demeanor?
I'm thinking maybe curious. Because we were talking about how young they are, like they're fresh off the line.
Yeah.
They're still trying to figure lots of things out. So I think they may be curious.
Nice, sweet, cool. And what are you picturing for the for Alistair's mechanized wife?
I would also add, just as a note, where it says paternal, you probably want to do like paternal/maternal.
Yes, that's a good. I meant parental.
Oh well, that's even better.
So I do need to change that part. And there we go. Parental. Yeah, it must have auto-corrected to paternal.
Yeah, probably.
I am going to go with protective.
Nice. Okay. I think that will work nicely for their dynamic.
Yeah.
Cool. So now we pick our pilot's look. And if you can think of things to add to this list, by all means add to them. But I'm going to read these out for the people listening, and then you guys can just pick as you go. So do that now as we go. So we have options for hair: wild, modest, glamorous, regal, hidden, spiky, fluffy, tight, colorful, shaved, and there's room to add more. Then we have eyes: determined, wary, naive, smoldering, ferocious, watchful, hopeful, bloody, and cold.
Maybe tired eyes?
Tired? Weary. I would say weary.
Oh, I thought you said wary. Okay, never mind.
No, it's meant to be weary.
It does say weary. I misread it.
Sorry. Then we have body options. So body, you have burly, athletic, slender, curvaceous, scarred, small, fat, toned, mechanical, and alien. I feel like alien is not an option in our game because we have detailed that aliens are not in our game.
Right.
You are welcome to have mechanical, though, if you want to play a robot piloting a robot.
Would it have to be our entire body, or could that also go for, like, I have a mechanical arm?
Yes, except that if you have a mechanical arm, then picking mechanical does not detail what the majority of your body looks like.
True. Okay.
So, like, do you have a mechanical arm and you're small, or do you have a mechanical arm and you're burly? Like, feel free to pick multiples of things. Like, you might have colorful shaved hair, which is like, how?
I dye my scalp.
Yeah, feel free to pick multiple. I just feel like you can't pick multiple for eyes. I feel like your eyes are predominantly one or the other.
I have two sets of eyes.
I mean, if you picked alien, by all means, have your weary eyes and your smoldering eyes. My species use these for flirtation. Oh, okay. Cool.
If you look in those eyes, I will take it as an insult.
Or we are wed. And then we have ethnicity, and I might expand the ethnicity or change some of the wording of these, but I pulled them from Masks, which is another Powered by the Apocalypse game. So we have Asian or South Asian, Black, Hispanic/Latino, Indigenous, Middle Eastern, White, and then I have put something else because I am very much aware that that is not an exhaustive list. And I'm not
What do you mean by
100%
him?
sure how I feel about indigenous.
I was going to ask what you meant. What would be indigenous?
I'm pretty sure that indigenous in that context means are they First Nations people from
Yeah,
somewhere?
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I would say Hawaiian falls under that, but I guess, yeah, Hawaiian would fall under that, but also, like, I can't remember the name of the ethnicity at the moment, but the native people of Finland who have that reindeer farming tradition.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember them right now, but it would fall under that. And also the First Nations people of Japan who are almost extinct, who I can't remember the name of, but are in Princess Mononoke. The dude who has the cursed arm is one of those people. Then we have your off-duty clothes. This is also not an exhaustive list yet. Off-duty clothes include flashy, fashionable, confronting, archaic, sexy, floral, and reserved. Then we have our battle clothes, which can be skin tight, fatigues, armored, dressy, pristine, bare, old, revolutionary, traditional, and mystical. Now, when I picture revolutionary, I'm imagining like, you know, somebody from Homefront, or like somebody from a freaking
So like colorful sashes and war paint and
yeah, like somebody from one of the anarchist fighting forces that are in anti-fascist armies that are in the Middle East and stuff at the moment, fighting against ISIS and stuff. That kind of a look would also flow into that. But revolutionary could also be like, I've got this weird high-tech new form of clothing that no one's seen before. Like, you could interpret it as you see.
Okay.
And then once you've both picked those for your pilot, we then will define how your AI communicates with you. So, have you guys picked your look?
almost done.
Yeah, same.
One of my favorite things about Google Drive and Google Docs is that when somebody is looking at a Google Doc, it will tell you, it will display the viewer as an anonymous and then normally an animal name.
Yeah.
Currently, we have anonymous elephant, anonymous rhino, anonymous ibex, anonymous lemur, and anonymous axolotl, all viewing the Live, Love, Die draft text.
What was that third one?
The third one is ibex.
I'm an ibex because that's missing from mine.
That's missing from your list? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. The other day, I actually got the first ever mythical creature in that list that I'd ever seen.
Nice.
Yeah, somebody logged in and it said that they were, and it was viewing this document because I've been looking at this document since I fucking wrote it. Somebody logged in and it said anonymous Ifrit.
Ooh.
Which I assume is only a mythical creature. I've never heard of anything called a real Ifrit.
Yeah.
So do we have our looks now?
Yep,
Yes.
I'm all set.
Cool. Ryan, do you want to read out yours while Akos finishes theirs?
Sure. So Tessa Albrent has glamorous hair, determined eyes, a toned body. She's black. She has fashionable off-duty clothes and pristine battle clothes.
Nice.
All right. And Alistair Calderon. Oh, yeah, I just realized I'm going to change that. He has hidden hair,
Nice.
cold eyes, a scarred body. He is Hispanic. He has archaic off-duty clothes and combat fatigues.
Cool. So when you say archaic off-duty clothes, what do you envision that looks like?
For him, I'm picturing, since this is ostensibly set in the future, his off-duty clothes are like jeans and a T-shirt for some ancient band that no one's ever heard of.
Love it.
Like a Yankees hat. That's just.
Oh my god! So you're like Tom Cruise in that sci-fi movie. I think it's called Oblivion.
Oh god!
How
yeah.
he fucking goes and visits the baseball pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just picturing like that. You're like, put on your baseball player cosplay. Love it. Cool. So now we define how our AIs communicates, and I think this is defining how the pilots the pilot you're playing, how your AI communicates with you. So Tessa, how does Zephyr communicate with you? And that can be as simple as like they talk into my headset, or it could be we are telepathically linked by neuronic implants. If you're playing this as like magical mecha, it could be they like psychically project their spirit into my mind's eye. Like, you go with whatever works for you.
Okay. We'll say that Tess has a neural interface, and Zephyr communicates through that.
That would certainly explain why you have such a tight bond in such a little amount of time. And what about for you, Akos? And that can for Alistair.
I'm thinking that Alistair and Reagan have been at this a while. He doesn't have that fancy neural link tech. He has an older model, so he has like a wrist communicator. Mm-hmm. So he essentially has like a rugged Apple Watch.
Yeah.
That can like buzz, and it's got like a two-way communicator on it. So if Reagan needs him, he has to like hit the button on his wrist and stare at it to talk back to her.
Yeah, cool. And obviously that like interfaces with your suit comms when you're in the.
It Bluetooth links.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So now we move on to making our mechs. It actually says make your custom weapon first, which I don't know why I did that, because of course you'd make your fucking mech first. What am I talking about? So you will need to scroll down, unfortunately, and I'm just going to find out what page it is on.
I think I'm there.
It is on... Yeah, you are on the right page, Akos.
It doesn't have numbers.
Yeah, they do have numbers on the side,
6.
actually. Yeah, it's page... it's actually page 7.
Oh.
On my document.
Oh, for the mech. Sorry, I was looking at the weapons.
Yes, no, for the mech. Yeah, so if you scroll down to the mech section, I will... You should be able to see the section that I have highlighted.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, so that's the first word. So I'm going to read this out for everybody listening at home and also for our players. Your mech is a complex machine of war controlled by a pilot and AI team. The pilot manages the bulk of maneuvering and combat actions, and the AI manages the subsystems, comms, and navigation. It is through synergy that pilot, AI, and mech become one. Your mech has 4 limbs, a body, and a head. It is fitted with basic sensors and armor. It is hardened against radiation, extreme weather, and has a sealed cockpit. It also has 2 of the following mech modules. So for those playing at home, the mech modules that our pilots have to choose from are heavy armor. Your harm clock has 6 spaces rather than 4. That should say your mech's harm clock, but here we are. If you take that, you can't take flight enabled or super heavy armor, but super heavy armor isn't in the base set anyway. Flight enabled, your mech can fly under its own power, cannot be taken with heavy armor. That should also say cannot be taken with super heavy armor, but we'll get to that. Hand to hand, your mech has modifications for fighting hand to hand. When you attack while unarmed, use these tags: 1 harm, hand, dangerous. Acceleration gear. Your mech has wheels, skis, or thrusters to help it move faster in open areas. Cannot be used on rough terrain and cannot be taken with super heavy armor. Mech shield. Your mech carries a shield, +1 when you defend with this shield. Extra limbs, your mech has extra limbs. Integrated weapon, your signature weapon is mounted to your mech. The two are nigh inseparable. And then we have a repair kit, which lets you fix your mech or someone else's. And then medical kit, which lets you fix yourself or somebody else. So those are the ones you can take at base generation. At base character creation, rather. So you can pick up to 2. You don't have to pick 2. You don't even have to pick 1.
And so, without hand-to-hand, if you're ever disarmed, you aren't like agile enough to fight, or you just don't.
No. You can fight. You just can. It's just if you take the deal harm option in the in the total, is it total mayhem or time for mayhem? In the time for mayhem move, you'll be dealing harm as harm 0.
Okay.
So you will deal no harm.
Okay.
So you can still defend yourself and you can still fight. It's just that you can't punch hard enough to damage their mech without damaging yours, or even to deal that much damage to them. Yeah.
Right. In that case, I think I'm going to go with flight enabled and hand-to-hand.
Nice. Good choices. So the harm clock for your mech is 4 segments. You might want to note that next to your mech's other modules.
I'm going to go the opposites. I'm going to do heavy armor and a mech shield.
Nice. So your harm clock is 6 for your mech. Cool. Now we design our custom weapons. Now this is the section that I've worked on the least, and I'm not too sure how well it'll work. It's borrowed from other Powered by the Apocalypse custom weapons moves. It's in particular borrowed from. I drew a lot of inspiration from Monster of the Week's custom weapons because it had the most similar harm dynamic to mine. So first of all, I'd say, you get 1 custom weapon and then 1 mundane weapon or common weapon. Those are basically weapons that don't have a lot of complicated tags and stuff on them, and once they break, they're gone. Pretty much, they are of little consequence. They can deal harm, they just don't deal that much. But they don't have like cool stuff on them. So I would say we'll go through this. Who wants to go first? And we'll just walk through it.
I'll go first.
Sure. Are you making a mech gun or a mech melee weapon?
Oh, gun. So I'm thinking shotgun. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, is this a sniper shield or is it a...
No, it's like a get a little closer shield.
Nice. So you're going to take shotgun. So your base stat line then is 1 harm, close, reload, messy, and kinetic. Reload and messy are negative tags.
Yeah.
So then you can choose 2 upgrades from that list. For those playing at home, we have semi-automatic, which removes the reload tag. 3-round burst, which adds an extra harm. Automatic, which means your shotgun has area. High-powered, which adds the far tag and removes the small tag if you have small. Large bore, which adds harm and adds breach, but also removes small rather. I should add. Ridiculous payload adds breach and dangerous. So breach would replace reload. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if it means it breaches through walls, or if it means you have to reload it by breach.
When I was reading the sprawl yesterday, that's the impression I got, that it has to, that like it breaches walls.
Yeah, that's what I'm envisioning. So I will just have to make a note for myself that that is what I intend it to be. It's for breaching through walls. Yeah, that would explain why ridiculous payload has breach.
Yeah.
Snub-nosed adds the close tag. Laser conversion makes your gun a beam weapon. Rugged, your weapon can take one more condition. I think custom weapons can take 2 conditions by default. A pilot can take 4, and a mech can take 4. Precise removes the messy tag. Smart scope adds multi-targeting. Explosive adds +1 harm, adds area, and also adds the single-use tag to your weapon. And then you can also take integrated, which you have to have the integrated module to use integrated.
Right. I think I'm gonna go with. So what does the reload tag do? You have to reload after every.
I think the reload tag means you have to reload after every attack or so. Reload as narratively convenient. So for your shotgun, it probably means it's pump action. So if you took the semi-automatic, it means you've got you can just pull that trigger.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go semi-automatic and ridiculous payload.
Nice. So add. You just have to write down. You just have to remove the reload tag and add breach and dangerous to your shotgun's tags. And yeah, interesting.
Wait, no. What does dangerous do?
Dangerous means that it will. It is risky to fire it. It can cause collateral damage. Is what dangerous means.
No, I meant large bore. I'm going to go with semi-automatic and large bore.
Nice. So that'll add breaching and an extra harm, which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just add those tags on. And so now we will move to Ryan. What do you envision Tessa fighting with? A gun or a melee weapon?
I'm looking at the hand weapons. So what I had in mind, I was kind of looking through the list.
Mm-hmm.
Long handle, large blade, energy. I want like a laser glaive.
You want a laser glaive? Sure. So we're gonna take the for those playing at home, when you make a custom hand weapon, you choose from one of the 2 bases. You either have long handle or short handle. Short handle has 1 harm, reach, and area. Long handle has 1 harm, reach, and area. Short handle has 1 harm and hand. Hand and reach being the melee fighting ranges. And then you've chosen blade or large blade?
I think I'm going to go with large blade.
Large blade is 2. Actually, energy is also 2 tags.
2. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Energy is also. I'm going to take the asterisk off of energy because I don't think it should take 2.
Okay. In that case, I'll take blade and energy.
Yeah. Cool. Sweet.
Sorry, I didn't realize that the energy meant it took 2. The asterisks.
Yes, I think I deleted the asterisks when I was fixing something up earlier. But yes, large blade is because it gives 2 harm. It's meant to be.
Yeah, it takes up 2. Okay.
Yeah. It's like I have a great sword. Although if you take the long handle, I don't know what large blade means. If you take, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what a great sword on a polearm
looks like.
Yeah, that's wild.
So it's so off balance that I can't lift it.
No, I think large blade and long handle is like a scythe.
Yeah.
That would work. All right. So in that case, yeah, I'm gonna go with blade and energy.
Yeah, cool. So energy gives you the quick and beam tag, and beam doesn't really do anything except interacting with like anti-beam coating or reactive armor.
And it looks really cool.
And it looks fucking cool. It's wicked neat. quick though means that it's like super quick to draw. So it probably just looks like you have like a staff on your back, and then it's like, "Hua!" And then, and you've got this big energy blade, and it's like, come at me. Cool. And then, does anybody want a mundane mech weapon while we're here? So does anybody... The example mech weapons that you can have are a hand cannon, so a pistol, a blunderbuss, a shotgun, a mech SMG, a spear, a mace, a sword, or a knife.
Yeah, I think my guy would have an extra...
An extra shotgun?
Not a shotgun. Where are those again?
They'll be under That'll Work, which is one of the moves. It is on page 5.
There it is. Yeah.
Guys, I need to step away for a second. Allie cut herself, and she needs my help.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Let us know. Yeah, you just do that, and we'll
okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a mech SMG too.
Nice. For closing the distance.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So while we wait for Ryan to get back, let's pick the look for your mech and then we'll pick a call sign.
Yeah.
So the look options for mech are high tech, knightly, animalistic, butch, angelic, scavenged, arcane, flamboyant, rugged, militaristic, femme, cute, alluring, and menacing. Yes, the butch and femme are very much intentional. Because I support lesbian language in my game.
Wait, where was I saw that? I don't remember where it is on the list.
It's just above expanded mech modules and just below the mech customization for starting. So it's now highlighted.
There it is. Yep, thank you. Definitely not high tech. Can I add a tag?
What's the one you are envisioning?
I'm thinking worn.
I mean, that could...
Yeah, that
would
would
be rugged.
Actually, I'm gonna go with militaristic.
Yeah, so that's, you look like a...
It's like armored and...
You look like a mech designed by Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
Or you look like a mech from Titanfall, or you look like...
Yeah.
Or you
I'm
look
thinking,
like,
at this point, I'm thinking kind of like that, I can't remember the name of it, that giant mech that has like the chain gun from Titanfall.
Is it an enemy? Or is it from Titanfall 1? Because I've not played Titanfall.
No, from Titanfall 2.
There's the chain gun. Which one is the... I think that's the Tone.
The Tone's the one that I love. That's got the tracking rounds.
So the expert... Oh, no, the one at the end. The fucking one with the Vulcan minigun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last kit you get. Yeah, I can't remember.
The Legion. That's
the Legion. Yeah.
I hate fighting Legions. They're so cheap. But that's basically... But instead of the Vulcan cannon, it's got like a big shield.
Yeah, a shield and a shotgun.
Yeah.
It's very... It's actually kind of like the... It's kind of like the Drake from Lancer, which is another mecha RPG that was also inspiration for this, because I'm like, this is cool, but it doesn't explore emotion enough.
Yeah, I'm looking at it kind of like that.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Drake.
It's got,
except with a shotgun. So it's a Drake, it's a Drake Tortuga custom.
It's a shoddy Drake.
Because the Tortuga is the mech from the same company that is all like shotguns and like deck sweeping weapons, and it's like it's big enough to just fill a hallway on a spaceship. So you've built it's a Tortuga Drake custom, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So it's got like the heavy armor plates all over it. It's not super fast because it's got heavy armor plates all over it, but It's got a kick-ass shotgun and a giant shield.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So some other stuff about like the mechs is that as I said before, your mech can take 4 conditions. You currently can take 6 harm.
Right. Let me make a clock for myself.
There is a section that explains conditions. Where is it? Yeah, here. So we're going to detail conditions, and we'll explain this for Ryan when he gets back as well, but for everybody playing at home. When you give a condition, name it, it will be recorded on the target's condition table. When you take a condition, Tactical will name it, so I'll give you the name. And you'll record it on your condition table. If a character must take a condition and their condition table is full, it replaces an existing one of their players' choosing. When a condition is replaced in this way, that target takes 1 harm. So that would represent that like a system that you didn't fix has degraded and gotten worse, and now you're fucked.
Yeah.
Pilots have 4 space conditions on their a 4 space condition table rather. Mechs start with a 4 space condition table, and a weapon has 2. A custom weapon, a signature weapon has 2. So your mech SMG can take 1 condition. So if I give you the condition jammed on it, it's now full of conditions, and if you take 1 more, the weapon is destroyed.
It just breaks. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I will need to write that if a weapon must take 1 more condition, it is destroyed, or lost. When you exploit someone else's condition, you take +1 to the roll. When your own condition gets in the way or hinders you, you take -1. On a note on the naming for these conditions as well, there's not an exhaustive list. They're just they're kind of like fate conditions. Yeah. So the pilot conditions are mostly about their moods and emotional state, while as the mech conditions are about the mechanical workings and systems of the mech. The mech conditions do not necessarily relate to the AI. The AI can't really take conditions just because that would complicate play a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
To have yet another thing to track, and I've tried to keep the tracking of things as low as possible. So yeah, the conditions for the mech are mostly about like it being broken or whatever. So the example pilot conditions I've got so far are angry, confused, conflicted, or panicked. But also like anything could go in there. You could. And then the example mech conditions I have are hobbled, blinded, cracked, and leaking. So leaking might be your fuel's going everywhere. Cracked could be there is a gap in your armor that someone could exploit.
That's not good.
Yeah, blinded is obvious, and hobbled is also obvious.
Yeah.
Is that all making sense so far?
Yeah, it makes sense. So each starts with it being able to take 4,
Yes.
and it's sort of narrative stuff until you take a 5th.
Yes, until you take a 5th, and then you take a harm. We might just, because it probably won't come up in this session, because it might not get to it, but I think it might be fun to take a look at the death moves.
Sure. Oh,
I will put my cursor there.
I'm back, by the way.
Are you good?
there he is.
Yeah, Allie
Allie.
just cut her elbow. She's like moving files into a filing cabinet, and she scratched the crap out of her elbow.
But she's good, though? You don't need to go? Because it's okay if you need to go.
She just needed help putting on a Band-Aid, so...
Okay, cool. Yeah, so where did we leave you off?
I had the custom weapon, 2 harm, reach, area, quick, and beam.
Nice. Cool. So we will now detail a little bit more about your mech. Oh, there's an anonymous capybara here now. Hello, anonymous capybara. Where the fuck is it? Where are the mech customization rules? Yes, here we go. So, next you pick a look for your mech. I will highlight these for you. I just read these out, but they are the options you have to choose from are high-tech, knightly, animalistic, butch, angelic, scavenged, arcane, flamboyant, rugged, militaristic, femme, cute, alluring, menacing.
And what did Alistair pick?
Alistair picked militaristic.
Yes.
Okay. I think in that case, I'm going to go with knightly.
Knightly. Fuck.
Nice.
Grand. Yeah, your fucking mech has webbing all over it, and you've got like this
Yep.
fucking tactical shotgun and this shield, and then this new recruit rocks up, shining, glistening like knight mech with an energy glaive, and it's just like, fuck. All right,
Yeah.
well, you're drawing fire then, Mr. Huge Knight Mech. Go get him, Ray.
Hey, bullet sponge boy, you go first.
Fantastic. And then you were, and we already detailed how your mech communicates with you, didn't we?
Yes, I have a neural interface.
Yes, cool, excellent. So now we get to the fun part of. Oh yeah, did you want a mundane weapon as well, Ryan? So the options were pistol, shotgun, SMG, spear, mace, sword, knife.
You know what? So this is like if we ever get booted out of the mech and need to fight hand to hand, or
No, this is another weapon that your mech has. But for example,
Okay.
if I was playing like a mech that had a huge fuck off mace, I'd
Yeah.
probably take like a hand cannon so that I had a weapon to fire while I closed the distance. But like
Right.
as soon as I got close enough, I just toss that pistol aside and start laying into things with my mace. But that's just what I'm interested in narratively. And also, if somebody had like had suggested to me, oh, all the mechs should have like combat knives, and I'm like, well, I mean, they can take a mundane combat knife. Your combat knife is never going to be like your fucking coolest thing you've got. And if it
Right.
is, it's going to be fucking beam, and you're going to have the numerous tag on it, so you just keep pulling out beam knives.
All right.
I had a character. When Chris ran his Apocalypse World, I think I was playing the killer or whatever, and the backup weapon I took was knives, and it had the tag infinite.
Yeah.
So you could just always have a knife.
Yeah.
There's just knives everywhere.
I think I might take the mech SMG.
Sure. So you both have mech SMGs, which suggests to me that it's probably the standard issue weapon of your mercenary band.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sounds good.
And you guys can give that a new name if you want. You can also name your weapons. Like, feel free to name your weapons. But we're going to do the call signs for our mechs, and then we might jump into play.
Ooh.
So make a call sign for your mech. You can draw. Somebody suggested a cool thing for mech names the other day when I was talking about this with someone. Was like, it'd be cool to have mech names that are all proverbs. You could also go for a scum swarm naming convention. You could go for you could take things from Pacific Rim and go for something vaguely or explicitly racist, and then attach something else to the next part of it.
Oh dear.
Like Crimson Typhoon for the Chinese mech pilots. Is that racist? And then Gypsy Danger. That's definitely racist.
No, it's dangerous.
That too. You could also go for you could go full anime. You could have a demon name for your mech. You could have the mechs in Code Geass are named after all of the Britannian mechs in Code Geass are named after Knights of the Round Table from Arthurian legend. So you have the Lancelot and the Tristan, the Galahad.
Well, I'll ask you, Ryan, how big is our unit? Because, if there's 500 of us, we're probably not going with, Knights of the Round Table. But if there's only 10, then we could do something more specific.
And also, your unit does not have to be consistently named, but you guys might be.
I like the idea of more of a smaller unit. That way, it's easier for Ray to, there's more of a consistent
What?
cast of
What
NPCs.
if your mecha pilots pulled their names from the Seven Samurai?
Okay.
Let me
All
pull
right.
them up. So, the Seven Samurai, where's the cast listing? The Seven Samurai. We have Takashi Shimura. No, that's the actor. Hang on. Kambai Shiyamada. Gorobi Katayama. Shirochijo. Kyuzo. Hiyahachi Hayashida. Katsushiro Okamoto. And oh no, that other one was Kyuzo, and then Kichikuchio.
Kikuchio?
Yeah. This is just an idea as well. We could.
I feel like this is a minefield of pronunciation.
That is fair.
I like the idea.
It's a cool idea. Well,
name is.
Okay. Hang on. Alternate idea. What?
The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, Magnificent Seven.
Chris Pratt.
So we could do the Magnificent Seven. We could also do other Seven Samurai inspired media like Ironclad. Which is
wow. The names. I mean, I guess I don't know what those the Japanese names translate to, but the Americanized names are Chris, Vin, Bernardo, Lee, Harry, Britt, and Chico.
Wow. So Ironclad is a Seven Samurai film that is set in like Britain during just after one of the Crusades. So like half the cast are Templar Knights. So we have Thomas Marshall. Marshall could be a cool mech name. William de Albany.
I'm thinking, what if we go with ships of World War II?
Ships of World War II could be fun.
Okay.
Ships of World War.
Oh, I found it already. I'll drop it in the chat.
I've already gone to list of. No, that's list of ship classes. I don't want list of ship classes.
There you go. I linked you. Pick a letter. They're alphabetized.
Yeah, Ryan, pick a letter. I'm going to look at Z.
Oh, I'm going to look at X.
Oh, the Z names are really bad because they're just... Because half of them are just Z1, Z3, Z4. But you get to the bottom and you have Zembasi, the Zara, the Zealous, the Zebra, the Zenith, the Zephyr, the Zest, the Zetland.
There's only 2 X names that aren't experimental ones. Xanthus and Xenia. Xenia.
Nice. Xenia. Both are good.
Hmm.
Oh my god. What the Imperial Navy of Japan had a aircraft carrier called the Zikaku, which is very close to a Zaku, which is a very famous enemy mech from Gundam.
That's probably where they got it from.
Yeah. Zodiac's good too. Let's also look at what else would be a weird letter.
The Royal Navy had a maintenance carrier named Unicorn.
That's pretty good. K has some weird names.
I started looking at E, which had some good ones.
Yeah.
Eggsford.
Nice.
Nice.
I, for the British Navy, would have so many weird, cool ones. There's a British ship called the Indefatigable, and then there's one called the Indomitable. They also had one called the Inflexible. Like, Indomitable sounds like a good characteristic to have, but Inflexible to me sounds like a really bad characteristic to have. I know that they thought of it as a positive trait, but like in the modern day, I think of that as a really bad trait to be inflexible.
So apparently the U.S. had a destroyer escort named the England, And both England and the U.S. had ships named Enterprise.
Nice. The Royal Netherlands Navy had one called Isaac.
Ooh, they also had the Exeter. That's a good name.
Yeah.
And Eyebright.
The Royal Navy had Ivanhoe because, of course, they had an Ivanhoe.
Ryan, how do you feel about Eyebright? Eyebryght.
I like it. Are you claiming that for your
Corvettes.
call sign, or?
No, I was thinking for you. I like Exeter, which was a heavy cruiser, which makes sense.
That works for you. So you're going to be in the Exeter. How do I spell that?
Exeter.
Like exit. EX.
But with all E's, yeah. And the Eyebright was a Corvette, Ryan, which means it's nice and fast.
Nice. Okay, so I'll be Eyebright.
Cool. And how are we spelling Eyebright?
EYE and then Bright, BRIGHT.
YE. That won't work because I wrote it in the wrong spot.
This is a cool list. I like it.
It's a good list.
Yeah.
The
O's are so good too.
Nice. Cool.
The Royal Navy had a submarine named Odin.
Oh, fucking hell. That's pretty on the ball. So, why don't we take a quick break and get some water, go to the bathroom, and then we'll be back in a second. For those who are in the chat, I don't have all the fun, cool features that a Twitch stream would have, so we're just going to all mute ourselves in a second, and we'll be back. So we should be back in a couple of minutes or two. So if everybody can just mute themselves, 3, 2, 1. And we return after some small technical glitches as well as our scheduled break. It was very nice that my technical glitch fell into
The scheduled break.
the scheduled break.
There we go.
But, you know, new internet speed. Yay!
Huzzah!
So, we're going to jump into play in just a second, and you guys and everyone will be able to actually see how this game works. I think, but first though, we need to do two things. One, we need to assign stats, and two, we need to introduce our characters again. Now that we have this consistent structure of a character built, for assigning stats, it's actually pretty simple, and this will be an opportunity for us to detail what the stats are as well. The stats in this are emotion, technical, violence, and synergy. So emotion is your ability, is not even your ability, actually. It is a measure of the strength and conviction of your emotions. The more emotional you are, the better you are at understanding other emotions and also affecting people with your emotions. Technical is your understanding of all things relating to the academic and technical piloting of mechs, as well as other military systems. And violence is your skill and willingness to do harm. Oh, so much harm. They can be rated from -2 to +3. And then our fourth stat is synergy, which can also be rated from -2 to +3. 1 second, I'm about to cough. Sorry. Synergy, however, is a floating stat that changes a lot through play. And synergy measures the strong bond between the pilot and their mech. It can both be an abstraction of that bond and also like a literal gradient, depending on how you choose to play it up in your setting. Your pilots might be aware of synergy as like a very real binding force between them and their mech. You might have in your setting, there might be like synergy gauges on the mech that reads how connected they are, and you might have HQ shouting over the comms, about Exeter, your synergy's dropping. What's happening? You've got to get back in alignment.
The drift or whatever.
It can be very much like the drift, and from Pacific Rim, but it can also be more abstract than that. But to begin with, all of these stats, including your synergy, start at 0, and you get to add +1 to either emotional, technical, or violence.
I think I'm going to go with violence.
Nice. And Ryan, what are you thinking?
I was also thinking violence, but I don't want to be too similar to Alex's character, so I think I'm going to go with synergy.
You can't give a +1 to synergy.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. It's emotion, technical, or violence.
In that case, I'll go with technical.
Sweet. So you understand the technical systems of mechs, which is interesting. Cool. I think that's going to be pretty good. So why don't you all make note of that? You probably want to put at the top of your sheet I would write emotional, technical, violence, and synergy, and then put 0 next to the ones that are still 0, and 1 next to the ones that the one that has 1 in it. And then we will be ready for you all to reintroduce yourself. And I actually did have a quick question. What is the name of your mercenary company?
Oh yeah, it's a good question.
Like the corporation that you work for, hiring yourselves out. Your labor hire company. If you want, I can name some Australian labour hire companies. There's Programmed, there's Work Skill, JobLink Plus. The Salvation Army has their own employment services organization.
We're the army side of the Salvation Army.
Yeah. The militant arm of the Salvation Army, to quote Austin Powers. You could. I'm pretty sure that Wikipedia will have a list of mercenary companies.
Is this like a corporate future? Like, would it be a really like washed down corporate name like Blackwater, like something that?
Well, I think because you're on the frontier, I think it would be kind of a weird fusion between like the companies and such of the American frontier, and also like the various colonial empires frontiers and all their companies, but also that modern day thing. So it might be like you could go for something inspired by like the East India Company.
Yeah, I was
you might be the Western Macduff Development Front. It's like but all you do is murder people.
Yeah, but we're developing them into bodies.
Yeah, into corpses.
Into corpses.
List of private military contractors, Wikipedia. Sharp End International.
Oh, God.
Unity Resources Group. Both of those are Australian.
What are you guys doing?
Slavonic Core. Wagner Group. Executive Outcomes is a South African one.
Wow.
There's a Gibraltar company that used to be called Sandef, which is now called Stip. Aegeus Defence Services, which is based in London. Control Risks. International Intelligence Limited. Sandline International. I've heard of Sandef and Sandline before. AirScan. Academy. Custer Battles. That's a really bad one, America. It's just a bad name. Jorg Scientific Corporation, which is from Arlington. KBR, MPRI, MVM, Northbridge, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Titan, Triple Canopy, Vanille. Vanille is an American company that is based in Turkey.
I think that's where it operates.
It operates in Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. Yeah. MVM is a CIA and NSA contractor, and then KBR doesn't have a portfolio at all, apparently. But it was formerly a division of Halliburton.
Of course.
Of course. Oh, Academy used to be Blackwater.
Yeah, after the Iraq War, they changed it. Oh, someone just suggested in our chat, R.E.S.E. Robot Solutions.
Yeah.
Which stands for Rock'em Sock'em Robot Solutions.
All right. I would use that abbreviation, but then I would say that it's like the original founders' names or something. It could be, although it could be Rocco, Socko, and Mr. Roboto.
I like the R.E.S.E. Robot Solutions.
Yeah.
And it's like the acronyms of the founders, but the grunts call them, Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that.
I like it too.
Cool.
Thanks,
so
Steve.
what was the name? Sorry.
So it's R.E.S.E.
R.E.S.E.
Robot Solutions.
Robot Solutions. And I'll try and type this up later for people. for you, and then everybody else that wants it will have to check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
Because we do table artifacts. For $10 a month, you can get access to all of the notes that I make for our games. Cool. I think that will work. So why don't y'all introduce yourselves, and I'll set the scene.
All right. You want to go first, Ryan?
Yeah, I started off going first. So, hey everybody, I'm Ryan once again, and my character is going to be Tessa Albrent. Her pronouns are she, her. Her AI companion is called Zephyr. Zephyr's pronouns are they, them. Their mech is, well, let's say, first of all, Tessa has glamorous hair, determined eyes, a toned body. She is black. She wears fashionable off-duty clothing and pristine battle clothing. And with Zephyr, together they pilot a mech with a flight-enhanced module and hand-to-hand capability that is nightly, and they are called Eyebright.
I have a question about your mech.
Okay.
Are your flight systems energetic jet propulsion? Are they wings? Are they hard light? Do you fly like Superman?
I like the idea of being jet propelled.
Cool. So you've got big fucking jet thrusters on the back of your mech.
Yep.
Cool. That works. And you wield an energy glaive in the fray, correct?
Yes, I do. It is a massive pole arm with a laser beam at the end of it.
It's good content. And Alex, what are you playing?
I am playing Alistair Calderon. His pilot demeanor is old. He's a veteran, and he's getting kind of tired of all this shit. He has hidden hair. He's always wearing like a knit cap or a baseball hat, depending on like what where he is. He has cold eyes, a scarred body. He's of Hispanic descent. He has archaic off-duty clothes and fatigues for battle, which are also worn and patched. His AI is named Regan. She is protective. They've been together for a while. They communicate when not in the mech via a clunky wrist communicator. The mech itself, together they pilot Exeter, which is a large militaristic mech that is clad in heavy armor and carries a mech shield. Its main weapon is the giant freaking shotgun it has, and it also has a mech SMG for backup.
Nice. Cool. So, I think to set up, is Exeter currently part of a ongoing conflict, or are you about to go on mission for like some one-off thing?
I mean, I was thinking that we've been on whatever planet this is for maybe a few months now. Like, it's been an ongoing operation.
So the Eyebright has been sent up from the reserves. It's like, oh, this one's finished training. Take him out, Exeter.
Basically.
All right, cool. So this is like some kind of ongoing border conflict on the world of Oscaro, or as others call it, Macduff, because this is a world that is currently split between two factions. A frontier planet embroiled in border skirmishes and rights and wars over who gets to claim which part of the planet out on the frontiers of space. They just built a jump gate in this system to exploit the resources, and immediately wars. So I think maybe this planet's been colonized for a couple of decades or so, and in recent years it came to a boiling point where people are now starting skirmishes, and so hired R.E.S.E. Robot Solutions in as a mercenary company to assist them with their mecha woes. Are your enemies in this conflict other mercenary companies, or are they like or are they the local forces? Do the Oscaro and McDuff military hire Robot Solutions to be like, oh, we need to break through their mech line. You fought with them last week to set up that mech line. We'd like to hire you this week to smash it. Because we did say that you are impartial in this conflict and hired by both sides.
Yeah. I would think that if we, like, set up our own defenses and then got paid by the other side to break them, we wouldn't get hired again.
Sure.
So we're probably not, like, undoing the things that we just did.
So they probably are hiring you then for, like, they've got their armies engaging in the direct conflicts with one another, and then they hire you to like escort or go harass this particular facility while we've put on an offensive elsewhere.
Yeah,
Right.
probably.
All right, cool. Is this towards the end of the current conflict, or do you think the end is nowhere in sight? If you say it's towards the end, then we'll probably roll into a new conflict for the next session, and this session will be like tying down the ends of the war.
Yeah. What do you think, Ryan?
I like the idea of it not having any end in sight. You know, it's just going to go on.
Sure. So then
Yeah.
this will be the conflict we'll be exploring with our players.
Ongoing operations.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. So I think we open with Exeter in the forward operating base.
Okay.
Prepping for missions and such.
I have a question for you, actually.
Go for it.
These mechs, like, how big are we talking? Like 30 feet, 500
I think they're as big as a house.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not giant mechs, but they are comparable in the area they take up to battle tanks.
Okay.
To an Abrams. It's just an upright Abrams.
It's a standing tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we see you at the FOB. I think. What do we think the current theater of this war is, Ryan? Do you think what kind of environment do you picture them in?
Maybe the two sides are clashing over somewhere that's resource heavy. So maybe like a forest or a mountain range or.
Yeah, I think an alpine forest would be a cool place for a battle. So yeah, we're currently in like an alpine forest. I think maybe it's spring because that'll be a really interesting juxtaposition of all these blooming mountain flowers and stuff with the churning of soil from munitions. So yeah, I think we're in like a clear cutting in near some tree line. And where do we find Alistair and Reagan?
So we're like on a mission right now?
No, you're at base.
We're at base. Okay.
No, you're at base. Sorry.
So I'm thinking that so we're at the FOB, and Alistair is running some diagnostics on Exeter with Regan. So he's probably got like the cockpits open, and he's just like sitting in the seat with a computer on his lap and like wires running to different systems.
Yeah.
And telling her to, run the diagnostic on the weapons, and they wait for that to come back. And it's like mundane maintenance, but you got to do it if you want to make sure you don't die.
Sure. Yeah. And then I think we see sort of like we're watching this screen as information's coming up and we can hear these two talking. And then we see like a shadow moving out of the corner of your eye, like that blurriness of somebody walking past. And you see that it's one of like the I was going to say deckhand, but you're not a Navy force. You're a fucking mercenary company. You see like some support crew guy and he's got this woman in tow, who's looking very stylish. And he's shouting at you over the sound of like your cockpit with all the housings open so you can be doing the maintenance. There's just no sound protection, so like just the sounds of the inside of your mech are just blaring to everywhere.
There's probably also music playing really loudly.
Yeah, some fucking old metal, some old band music from Earth that was.
Yeah.
We can just hear this guy's just shouting at you. How do you eventually become aware that this person is standing there? This is a question for you and Regan.
Yeah.
So Regan, what does that look like when you tell him?
Excuse me, Alistair. It appears that I hate to interrupt. I hate to interrupt your diagnostic, but one of the techs is trying to get your attention down there.
Alistair looks down and sighs, reaches up and hits some buttons on the top, and the music he's listening to turns off, and the mech quiets down.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. So they sent you a new apprentice.
Hi.
Wait a minute. No. I wasn't supposed to get a new one. I was supposed to finish up out here and then go back to base.
Look, if you wanna take it up with tactical, take it up with tactical. But I'm just telling you, they sent you a new apprentice.
Alistair sighs. He probably curses to himself, but it's low enough that you can't hear it. You just see his lips move. Mm-hmm. He puts the little tablet computer down on the side of the cockpit seat in the mech, and climbs down. He lands. You can see he's got his fatigues on, worn black combat boots. His clothes are worn. They're clean, but a little threadbare in places. You're pretty sure there's some shrapnel holes that have been patched up. And he's got an olive green knit cap on his head.
And then
he just stares at you.
And then this very interesting individual steps down out of their mech, and you see, what do we see of you, Tess? What do you look like at the moment?
I think she is wearing sunglasses. She has her hair way teased out, so it's just like an explosion of hair. Mm-hmm. She is She looks like she's ready for a cruise or a tropical holiday or something.
Nice.
So she's got a very tasteful kind of crop top and shorts. She is also wearing boots, but they are. They are much more ornate and
they've got a high heel on them,
right.
Not a high heel, but a raised heel for sure.
Right. And she. I'm picturing. Like I said, she looks like she just stepped off the cruise ship. Maybe she's ready for a night of drinking or fun.
Yeah, you look like you are not prepared to go to war.
This. Exactly.
Sure. And I think maybe we see a container truck for transporting mechs a little bit further down the dirt road that has been cut through the forest up to the fob.
Well, you are just as green as they come, aren't you?
Fresh out the jump gate, actually. We
Of
just
course you are.
we just hit soil about an hour ago.
Yeah, I
Are
think
you?
maybe we hear the screeching of drop ships cut through the air as more supplies come down from the jump gate.
Uh-huh. Great. So, have you ever piloted a mech before?
Well, I've been through basic 10 weeks, pretty extensive training.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This will be my first time in a combat zone.
What's that line from Aliens about simulated drops?
I don't remember.
Neither do I. 500 combat drops, all simulated.
This will be my first time in live combat, though I do have extensive time in the sim. Top marks in my class.
I think maybe Command would have given you something like some kind of document to hand to.
Okay,
Actually, I think it's a USB with a wax seal on it, and pressed into it is the R.E.S.E's Robot Solutions logo, and I think they've given you that to hand to your new master.
All right. So I go, oop, and I pull that out of my pocket and I pass it over.
Alistair takes it, reaches back up into his mech and grabs that tablet computer, breaks the wax off the stick, and jams it into the drive, and watch as it pulls up, the records.
Yeah, you see the name of some random planet that you've never heard of before, where Tess is from, and you see like a bunch of high school finishing grades and all this stuff, all this academic stuff, and then like, ooh, look at these test scores, and they are pretty impressive. She did do quite well in the simulator, like top of her class, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
You see that they have a pretty decent knowledge of the technical systems of mech, but I would say that you're pretty interested to see how that'll go in the field.
Yeah.
Because field repairs are very different to in a well-supplied base repairs.
It's a lot easier to fix something when you're not being shot at. So, this is all pretty impressive. But you've never... Oh, I just dropped stuff on my desk. Sorry. You've never actually been out in the field, though, have you?
Well, no. But that's why I'm very eager to get to know you. I've been reading your dossier. You've been in combat for what is it? Almost a decade now, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's a hell of an active duty tour.
Is that what they told you back at base camp? Hell of a tour?
Hell of a tour.
I got part of it right.
I don't know how else you would describe it. She starts like rattling off different jobs and battles and skirmishes that you were in.
Sure, I think that would be a I know that machine move. When you consult your knowledge of mechs, science, and the physical universe, ask tactical what you hope to uncover. So I think the thing that you hope to uncover is the truth of their service record.
Okay.
Do you think that would be? Yeah.
Yeah.
So roll 2d6 plus your technical skill. So you have +1 in technical.
Let's see how this goes. Not bad. 9.
9. So on a 7 to 9, your answer is hearsay. So I think that you do state a lot of their record, but you also like reference things that you've heard at base, and like you say, oh yeah, you got 10 confirmed mech kills in the Battle of the Orlean Bluffs, and I heard that it was actually even like triple that, and I think that maybe at that, Alistair's like, it wasn't triple.
No, Alistair is like standing there with his arms crossed. Wow, I didn't even know half of those things had names.
Yeah, you didn't know that had a battle. You just
Yeah.
remembered it as the day you tried to climb a cliff.
That was that Thursday, right? Okay. All right, kid. You're definitely eager. I'll give you that. What kind of mech you piloting?
Yeah, I think at that point the truck rolls up, and the window winds down, and this also very fresh, probably like 18-year-old guy, pasty faced.
Oh, where do you want your mech,
Like,
ma'am?
"Oh, where do you want me to park this? Unload this unit, sirs."
I point to like an empty. I'm assuming like the mechs have bays.
Yeah,
So
although at
I
this
point to.
place it's just like a sandbagged off square, and you're kind of all arranged in a circle around each other.
Oh, okay. So then I point to the empty spot. Put her over there.
Yeah, so he like backs the truck into the area, and then we see like these big doors like hiss, like snap open, and then like the hiss of hydraulics as the eyebright is lifted into position and then like slid off onto the ground. And we see this huge knightly mech. What colors are your mech painted in?
I picture gold and maybe like a royal blue.
Fuck. Yeah, so this mech gets slid out looking like the flag of Sweden has been gilded.
Well,
It's
you're
got-
definitely here to get shot at. I'll give you that much.
Well, I should ask before I say, are we going for like realism? Like, should it be camo or
No, you can be as
dude.
anime as you want.
Yeah, in that case, yeah, gold and royal blue.
I think that camouflaging a mech is probably.
Counterintuitive.
Well, I imagine that it's probably like camouflaging an aircraft or camouflaging a ship. Like, you can do it, but it's more about for show than anything else.
Yeah, it's
because
more
you
about
don't really aim with color.
yeah,
Right.
It's more about like making the edges kind of fuzzy than hiding the entire thing.
Yeah, like
I would imagine that
all of your camouflage would be electronic. Like you're trying to hide from systems.
Right, so we'd be jamming radar or...
Yeah. And you guys did not take jamming modules because they're not available at character creation.
Yeah, I would think Exeter is like olive green.
Yeah.
Just because it's probably easier to maintain.
You said that yours is militaristic and that you're a little bit older. Does it have nose cone art? Like, do you have a bombshell painted on it? Is it a mechanical bombshell? Is it a depiction of Regan?
I'm thinking that the face of the mech is painted with like that old P-51 nose art. Like the mech has like
fucking red jaws and weird
like eyes and like a big shark mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Jawsome.
You got a big eye roll emoji for that one.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, so they unload the eyebright right next to the Exeter, and the contrast could not be more stark.
I would imagine the eyebright is also taller. Like I'm picturing the Exeter is a little shorter and squatter than the average mech because it's got like all the armor hanging on it.
Sure.
Wow. That is shiny.
Gauntlet class. It's equipped with flight jets and hand-to-hand combat capabilities. Also, has a laser glaive, which I'm quite handy with.
You see on your iPad as they say that. I think Regan scrolls through for you and highlights that they have 100% kill rate in the simulation with their energy glaive.
Wow.
And you know that those simulations would include fights against like ranged opponents.
Yeah.
So, but as always, a fight in the simulator is very different to a fight on the battlefield.
Well, that should be something to see. Haven't seen a laser sword on the battlefield in a while.
Yeah, they've worked out the kinks. They don't jam up and explode anymore.
That's good.
We fixed the venting problem.
I knew more than one pilot who lost a mech's arm or two, trying to look cool with their laser weapons. They make great grenades, though.
They make great grenades. Cool. Where do we think we go from here? Do we think there's some downtime or something? Do you want to do scenes with your AIs, or do we want to roll straight into a mission?
Maybe I would want to do a scene with an AI, like maybe an AI scene and then mission.
Sure.
For each of us, not just me.
Yeah. Are you happy with that, Ryan?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. So who would like to go first? Or rather, who has an idea of what they're doing with their AI?
I kind of have an idea.
Sure.
So I think it would basically be a few minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like 30 minutes later. So Alistair, like,
I think in the just across the bay, we can see Tessa working on the Eyebright.
Yeah, so like, he showed her where the bunk is, where the barracks are. This is your bunk. Stow your gear here. Make sure your mech's ready in case we get deployed. And then Alistair climbs back into his Exeter and takes his seat again. Can you believe that? She's greener than the grass out there.
Churning new ones out every day.
I just don't want to see another one get killed because they got cocky. Look at that thing. She's basically riding out in a flashlight. Here I am, shoot me.
I guess we'll have to watch her back.
Yeah.
Alistair, have you eaten today?
He looks at his wrist thing, and it's like 2 hours past lunchtime local time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to, but we were doing the diagnostics, and then the new kid showed up, and I just lost track of time. Might as well just wait till dinner now.
Please go down to the mess and at least have a snack. What if we get called to active duty before the dinner bell?
All right, you're right. So out of character,
Mm-hmm.
can AIs? I mean, I know they can't eat, but like, do they have like how Eclipse Phase has like narco algorithms or like?
I would say that is up to. I think that there's definitely the potential for that, but I think that that's not a thing that the various militaries and mercenary groups take into account into their mix. It's not a thing that the AIs need, but I imagine that the non-military AIs that have personhood and such, if they exist in your setting, I imagine that there would be things to accommodate that. So if those are things that you have made accessible to Reagan, then sure.
All right, so he starts climbing. So Alistair starts climbing out of the mech again. All right, I'll go get some grub. You want anything?
Yes. I would like a custard.
Custard. All right. I thought you stopped eating. So as he's walking, Alistair puts in like a little earpiece, like basically like a Bluetooth headset kind of thing.
Yeah.
And taps a button on his wrist communicator, so he's basically Bluetoothing.
Yeah.
So he's talking as he's walking. Yeah. I thought you didn't like custard.
Well, I've been getting a little bit sick of the donuts, so
what?
Figured I would.
How can you get sick of donuts?
I love the idea that Reagan only eats dessert because, like, why wouldn't you only eat dessert?
Yeah.
Right.
When you don't eat.
Right.
How can you possibly get tired of donuts? They're delicious.
I mean, I've sampled thousands of flavors by now. Flavors that I'd never even heard of before. I don't know. When you get to the end of the list of exotic preserves and fillings, it's maybe it's time for a change of pace.
Well, have you had a jelly donut?
That was at the top of the list.
I think as this conversation about desserts and stuff goes on, as you walk across base, we will roll into making a fraternizing on duty move.
Okay.
When you spend time tending the perimeter with an ally, talk about your feelings, reminisce about a joyful moment you've shared from your shared past, I think is this one. Take +1 forward to emotion. So you will have a +1 to your next emotion.
Okay. Yeah. So Alistair's flabbergasted about how you can get tired of eating donuts as he's walking to the mess. He goes in and grabs like a power bar and a water bottle for himself.
Yeah.
And peruses the
I
AI chips.
I think there's a holographic food buffet there that you spin like a Rolodex. And as you spin it, it shows up like food, and then it's like, oh, custard, and then or rather dessert. You select dessert, and then it like shows all these desserts, and you scroll through, and then you pick custard, and then it's like color and or flavoring.
What kind of custard do you want?
Start with banana.
All right, so he goes like banana, yellow, and hits that. Like a little SD card pops out of the machine.
Oh, I think it just gets emailed to you. I think you get the push notification on your watch saying,
"Oh, okay, your custard has been delivered.
Here is your digital ration of 1 custard, banana, yellow."
Okay, so he gets his watch bings, and he, grabs his power bar and water, and heads back to the mech area.
Yeah, and I think that is a scene.
Yeah.
As you walk back before we just as a closer, as you walk back, you hear Reagan, digitally eating this custard. She goes, oh, that's interesting. I think you may have been right. I don't like custard after all.
Wonderful sharing of feelings.
I'm thinking of Data from Star Trek when he got his emotions chip in. This is
revolting.
Would you like another, please?
Wonderful. So we'll head over to Tessa and Zephyr. So a reminder that these two are currently in a flirtation. They are crushing on one another.
Right.
So does anyone have an idea? So this could be Zephyr might have an idea for a scene, but also Tessa could have an idea for a scene. It's whoever has an idea for one.
What if during transport they take the AIs offline? So
so you got to boot.
Yeah, I'm basically waking
Zephyr
Zephyr.
How do you wake up the AI that you have a crush on?
I think there's a moment where Tessa climbs up into the cockpit of Eyebright, and it's sort of similar to Exeter's cockpit, but it's sleeker. Everything looks a little more modern. Everything's cleaner.
More touch screens, less dials.
Right.
There's like 2 little antennae things sticking out at like neck height on the chair that are high speed transmitters for your neural link.
Oh, nice. Is it wireless? Or do they like jam into?
I got the impression that Ryan went with wireless, but I'm happy to have a fucking Matrix.
Maybe there is like a direct interface for when she's in the chair, but there's like they have like audio and maybe like limited sensory
Yeah, sure. So
sharing
there's like a
capability.
small like lock ring thing that's like retracted back into the neck part, and
Okay.
I think we would know that there's a needle that like prongs out of that and like teeth to like attach into the neck port.
I think that Tess sits back in the chair, and she puts her neck into the restraint, and it connects. She doesn't actually activate the whole mech. So she's not like it's not like she's controlling it like her body. But she does like very gently run the tips of her fingers over her own sides because she knows that Zephyr can feel it.
Oh, that is even better than what I thought you were gonna do. I love it. Yeah, so Zephyr, you feel your fingers on your thigh?
Yeah,
Yeah, you feel your fingers on your thigh, but also they're not your fingers and it's not your thigh. So it simultaneously feels like you're being stroked while also stroking someone else.
Weird. So the lights in the cockpit like flash on as Zephyr wakes up. Oh. Good morning, Tessa.
morning, Zephyr.
Or is it morning? Wait, I'm syncing with the local network. Oh, I'm sorry. Good afternoon.
We're here. Finally found our way to McDuff.
Is that what we're calling it?
This week.
And how was the ride? I slept through it all.
It was boring, just about like any other jump gate.
Yeah, I think
sure,
jump gates take all the thrill out of traveling through space. Like,
Yeah.
it's just really boring. Like, one instant, oh, look, stars. Next instant, oh, look, slightly different stars.
Oh, did you miss me?
I did.
Oh.
I met our new master.
Oh, what are they like? What's their name? Are they cute?
Oh, they're cute. I love it. I love Zephyr so much.
I bring up the dossier for Alistair, Calderon, and Exeter. They have a world weariness about them.
Zephyr goes, there is a sort of rugged charm. And the pilot's not bad either.
I'm a little worried that we might have been stuck with a burnout.
What do you mean?
Well, nearly a decade in the pilot's chair. It's bound to wear on a person.
Are you trying to understand Alistair?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. So that's a move then. I think you're going to be using Divine Their Soul. When you try to connect with someone different to you and share their truth, roll plus emotion.
Okay. See how this goes. Oh boy. 4.
Oh.
All right. I think you're going to... I'm not going to give you a condition. I was thinking I'd give you a condition, but yeah, you're just annoyed that you feel like. Sorry, go.
I was gonna say maybe it hurt Zephyr's feelings because I have a response, but you do.
Yeah, sure. It might have hurt Zephyr's feelings. That's perfectly fine, and I welcome you to roleplay that out. But yeah, I think that you don't gain any new information. But you are. You cannot understand why they are like that, and also why HQ has attached you to this individual. It feels maybe like you've been. It feels maybe like you're being punished for something, but you don't know what you could have done.
Okay. So yeah, she just sort of like flops back and lets out a breath and says, "I don't know. Maybe that recruitment officer put us with him as a kind of punishment."
So I know you can like Zephyr can feel through you. Is there any way that you can feel things from Zephyr?
Yeah, I think the connection probably goes both ways. Zephyr
All right.
probably has a virtual body.
Oh,
that
so is
they
there
feel
so
with.
is there like do you see like a virtual person when you're talking to them? Or is there like a monitor in the mech that comes up and has a face on it?
I think yeah, maybe there's a monitor that comes up. I kind of picture Zephyr.
I'm thinking maybe Zephyr's current face is very much like emojis because they haven't yet discovered what they want themselves to look like.
Yeah, I was thinking like
Or
undetailed like CGI face, so just kind of
yeah,
like a bluish kind of not really a face, like human shaped, but
enough that
yeah,
you can broadcast facial cues, but
yeah.
not much else.
So Zephyr frowns. Well, I mean, you're 10 years. That's quite a while, but does that mean you don't want to spend that much time with me?
Oh, of course not. That's not what I meant at all. I just feel like I mean look at the list of battles that this Calderon's been involved with. There were some pretty serious losses taken here. Um, it looks like I mean I don't know. I suppose
Well,
I
maybe we just need to go on a mission with them and see what they're all about. Maybe he's the type of person that only really comes alive on the battlefield.
he could be. He could very well be. Uh, Hopefully he'll be more receptive.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think he likes your I don't think he likes your paint job.
What? What's wrong with my paint job?
Well, I mean, look at Exeter. Exeter is very functional.
That's one word.
Oh,
Well, I like the golden. You said it was gold and blue, right?
golden blue.
Golden blue, yeah.
I like the gold and blue. I think it really pops.
It does pop.
Maybe he's just jealous.
I'm sure that's it.
I mean, we come rolling in with the fresh new body and the shiny paint job, and who knows how long the two of them have been in that Exeter.
Yeah, cool.
I think. Um, Speaking of which, why don't we start running the diagnostic sequence? Let's show them
All
what
right.
Eyebright can do.
Come inside me and let's see what we can get done. Oh, climb inside me.
Yeah, I think Zephyr corrects themselves, and I think it's fantastic. I'm not sure that counts as a fraternizing on duty just because I can't pin down which one it would go to. I might actually change the wording on some of the fraternizing on duty moves in the future, though. Because I definitely feel like maybe you should get a +1 to emotion or possibly a +1 to technical, but like forward.
Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't fall into either one as written. So I think I'm going to rewrite that move in the future, and I'm going to give you. Do you feel like that scene was more about your emotions or more about like your mech's paint job and performance?
Probably my emotions, actually, because I was talking about how my new mentor isn't quite what I was hoping he'd be.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to give you a +1 forward to your next emotion check.
All right.
And I will, yeah, and I'm gonna highlight this and put a comment in for myself. Rewrite to be more flexible. And cool. So I think now we're gonna go on mission. I'm envisioning maybe a patrol mission, possibly, or what do you guys think might be fun?
I was thinking it would be something simple for, their first time.
Sure. I think maybe an advanced recon.
Yeah, something like that, like a patrol or recon.
It's like
something where there's not much enemies expected.
Sure. So you're in your mechs, and then you both get alerts from tactical, and a AI comes on, an AI interpreter comes on and says, "You have both been tasked to perform a routine reconnaissance mission. We're sending you into the forest to check for enemy positions. We believe that they have been advancing. You are currently assigned to the McDuff faction. So please check for Oscario IFFs and make sure that you do not engage with McDuff forces."
I love that they have to remind us who we're working for today.
Yeah. I think possibly in this theater, your company is aligned with McDuff the whole way. It's just that if you were in the Alps, for example, in the Alps, your company is tasked to Oscaro.
Right.
So, like in different theaters, you've been hired by the different branches. It's a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So now we get to use the suit up move.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
It's right down the bottom. Suit up. When the team prepare to go out on mission, Tactical will tell you your preparedness. Your preparedness is 1. Okay. Roll plus preparedness once for the whole team, and each choose for yourselves. Who is going to roll for the team?
Why don't you do it, Acos?
All right.
So 2d6 plus 1.
I'm just the rookie here.
Oh, that's a 5. That's good. And that's a 6, so 12.
Nice. On a 10 plus, choose 3. So you each choose for yourself. Now, unfortunately, because this is your first mission, a bunch of these aren't actually useful, so you'll probably only end up picking one. Yeah. So the options are reload or change loadout, clear mech harm and conditions, clear pilot harm and conditions, and then the last one is clear weapon conditions and take +1 forward with your weapons. So there'll be a +1 forward to your next attack with your weapon.
Yeah, well, I'll take that one. And
Ryan, what are you going to choose?
I think I'm going to clear all my pilot's harm because...
Oh, good.
Yeah, good. Clear all that pilot harm. You can pick 3, so clear pilot harm, change your loadout, and clear weapon conditions.
Can I take clear weapon conditions 3 times?
No, because you still only get a +1.
Oh.
Cool.
Well, I clean the hell out of my shotgun.
Clean the hell out of that shotgun.
It is almost looking new.
Cool. Yeah, and then I think we cut to like a wide shot of your mechs like sealing up and then standing up, picking up their weapons, and they walk down the road and then break off the road into the trees. And then after a few, maybe like an hour or so of walking, you start to enter the AO.
Yeah. I feel like Alistair has like a big O kind of opening where he jumps in and has to flick a bunch of switches to turn his mech on.
Yeah, indeed, definitely. Yeah, actually, it might be worth describing what launching your mech looks like. So yeah, you're like flicking all these switches and you're like grabbing joysticks.
Yeah, there's there's like foot pedals and like these arm things that his arms go into, and he has to flick all these switches to bring on the different systems as the canopy closes. And like Titanfall, it just sort of fills with like a big screen so you can see what's going on.
Yeah. In Iron Blooded Orphans, the pilots actually have on Gundam Barbatos has a direct retinal projection.
Oh,
It projects the outside world into his eye using a laser that is like on the dashboard, I guess.
damn.
Which is also, I think, how the ship piloting works in Outlaw Star.
Exeter definitely does not have that.
Does not have direct retinal protection. You've got like monitors, and you're like,
He's got like basically fancy VR goggles.
oh, VR goggles, nice. The Tieran Tautsi has that. Oh, not the Tautsi, the other one, the Tieran in 00. Cool. And what does booting up the Eyebright look like?
I feel like we can see the cockpit start to seal. It's all hands free, so where Alistair is flipping switches and toggling things and turning knobs and fiddling with a joystick. Tess just kind of like leans back in the chair, and we see her close her eyes, and then if it were a movie, it would cut to Eyebright's face, and it starts. Its eyes start to glow, like it fades up. So she's kind of like removing herself from her body and transitioning to being the mech.
I have a question. How much confidence do the designers of this mech have in your wireless control system? Or rather, your hands-free control system. Are there no switches or dials in the cockpit at all? Or is it just minimal?
I think maybe it's minimal. Like, if I'm, if the control is that far disrupted, since it's like plugged into my brain, I think they figure I might as well ditch if it's that bad off.
Yeah. They've probably got the physical controls in there so that when like deck crew have to move your mech, they don't have to get you down here to pilot it.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, nice. Your mechs boot up and you head on out, and then we cut to the battlefield. Or well, I say the battlefield, the area of operations. It's alpine. There's a bit of a slope, and at the bottom of this slope there is there appears to be a disruption in the soil. It extends for a while. It's not quite clear from where you are whether it's a crevasse or if it's like a tear from battle, like something has been done to the ground. You can't quite tell from here. It's not on your maps, but this section of the mountain is not thoroughly mapped, so it's unclear what it is. It's definitely, though, a gouge into the earth. How deep it goes, though, and how wide it is hard to tell from back here.
Sir, do you want me to fire up the jets and take a look? Should we?
How quiet are your jets?
Not.
Yeah, no.
They're jets.
Yeah.
Well, then again, we're also in mechs, like stomping through a forest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like you
okay.
probably had to push trees out of the way.
Yeah, sure. Hop up there and see what we're dealing with.
All right. So in that case,
yeah. What does it look like when you launch from the ground?
Eyebright salutes, and she. I'm trying to think of where her jets would be mounted.
I mean, you probably have little jets all over your body,
right? To keep
and then
a
large flight system. Like I think you have small jets because the flight system allows you to fly and maneuver in space as well.
Yeah. So yeah, in that case, there's like a pretty massive turbine in Eyebright's back that begins to spin up. and little maneuvering thrusters also begin to fire, and the entire mech like slowly but gracefully lifts off the ground, and then quicker than you think that something that big should move, maneuvers down into the crevasse and.
Yeah. So the crevasse is just wide enough for you to fit in. But flying this mech is no problem for you. A lesser pilot definitely would have crashed already. You managed to dodge the trees, and then you swoop down into that crevasse. It's just wide enough for your mech to fit in, and it gets wider at the bottom. And there's actually a stream through here, and you can see an opening pretty far away. It's actually pretty straight crevasse. You can't quite see out of that opening unobstructed, but you can see light coming from it. It's maybe I think it's probably like a kilometer away from you. So like down the road would be a more abstracted way of saying that.
Okay. Well, I'm exploring, so I'm gonna check with Zephyr to make sure they're streaming my telemetry over to Alistair, and I'll press on down. I'll follow the stream toward the light, see where it leads.
And what is the Exeter doing while this is happening?
So we're like on the lip of this crevasse or the canyon, and waiting to see what the report is.
Yeah, you see the Eyebright down below start walking east.
How's it looking down there, kid?
All quiet down here, sir. No sign of enemy combatants.
Just
like
as you say, no sign of enemy combatants, you notice tool marks on part of this wall.
I would scratch that last. Are you seeing this? I will direct my mech's attention to it and examine it more closely.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
You're not quite sure what it is, just from first glance. No one is, but if anybody wants to try and work out what it is, tell me how you will.
So it's like scratches in the stone, essentially?
It's definitely tool marks, but yes, scratches in the stone. Definitely made by like a pick or like a blade or something.
Okay. I guess I'll examine the scratch marks. Like, does it look like they were excavating here? Does it look like they were trying to install something in the stone? Does it look like there was like some kind of a platform or a structure that was here that was removed? Like,
yeah, sure. So that would be a I know that machine roll. So roll 2d6 plus technical.
That's the thing that I'm good at. That is a 9.
Nice. On a 7 to 9, your answer is hearsay. You can't be sure what it is. It might be either somebody was trying to dig a cave or something into here, like a lean-to into the stone, but their tool wasn't hard enough to cut the stone. Could be somebody was trying to take like geological samples. Maybe somebody was trying to drill into the stone here and plant like explosives for an ambush, but like they definitely didn't get far if they did that because they barely made marks in the stone. Could be they look like tool marks, but also like that some animals sharpen their tusks on stone, so it'd be weird if they were that, because they shouldn't look like tool marks then.
Yeah.
And this is like the bottom of a ravine?
Yes, that opens up a bit far away. Yeah, I'd say a ravine. It's pretty narrow.
Is there any other way down there, or like would you have to like climb down the side.
You could climb down the side, or you could follow it to its opening point, which has been indicated to you is nearby by.
Oh, okay. So it does. Okay.
Yeah, it's about
I'm gonna
a
start
cliff
heading towards
east.
that opening, kid. All right. Yeah. So I'm. Exeter starts heading towards that opening.
Yeah. So as you get to the opening, I assume Eyebright continues as well.
Yeah, we're gonna rendezvous.
Yeah. So as the Eyebright continues walking down the canyon and the Exeter walks along the lip or the ravine, you get to the Exeter gets to a bit where the mountain seems to have slopped off. Like this whole section of the mountain is just separated and slid further down. It probably happened quite a while ago, but because you see like grass and saplings on the hill slope near where the mountain has disappeared.
Okay.
And you see the opening to the canyon. And then further down through this bit of saplings and such that is almost kind of a clearing, you can see a river further down. And the river actually, you see it kind of snake up the mountain ahead of you, so that you think maybe that river used to go near the top of this ravine, and then erosion caused it to change its direction. Or maybe a battle happened here that caused it to change its direction. Unclear. But yeah, the river that used to come across here is now cuts down the mountain and continues on lower down the mountain.
Gotcha.
But you're still sort of on the hillside. And as you come out of the opening Eyebright, you see a similar scene, except you've just come out of the opening. You've come out of the side of a mountain, and it's like there should be more mountain here, but it's gone. And there's a hill instead.
It looks to me like somebody blasted this away, or like did somebody...
I definitely think it is so large as to suggest erosion.
Okay, gotcha. So there was just a rock slide.
More like a landslide because it would have been soil and stuff. Okay. It's not a very rocky mountain.
Gotcha. Hopefully no one was at the bottom, but there's trees and stuff up here, so happened a while ago at least. And Exeter starts making its way down the slope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess Eyebright will also follow. Should we check it out? It looked like there were signs of something back in that ravine.
Did you see any people?
Just the tool marks.
Well, then they're not in there now. No, we should keep patrolling.
All right.
Cool. So you head down towards the river? Is that where you said you were going?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure. I'm just making some notes for myself, if I can. Yeah. Where is the other thing that I needed to write down? Yeah, I think at the bottom of the mountain you find, you find that river, and it's pretty clear to you that it is a new stream. Like you can see that the soil's been washed away. The rocks that are in the soil bed are not in the riverbed are not that rounded. So maybe this happened like a season or two ago. And you see some fish and stuff, but yeah, here you are at the edge of a river.
All right.
I'm gonna look around, see if there's any structures that have been built around here, or if Regan can detect any radio signals or anything like that.
Sure. Give me 1 second. I think that actually might be I know that machine check, but Actually, I'm pretty sure I know that machine. So yeah,
Okay.
read with technical.
Yep. That's cocked. Doesn't really matter. I got a 2.
Like overall.
Yeah, total.
Yeah.
We're gonna die.
All right.
Double duck.
Yeah, you don't notice anything. Nothing stands out to you.
It's really quiet out here.
And then all of a sudden, your radio's cut off.
Like between each other?
Yeah, you notice that you're getting weak signal from each other, and you're standing super close.
Damn it, Regan, we're being jammed.
Yeah, I mean, you can still hear Regan because that's within your machine.
Yeah. So she says to you, "I'm working on getting comms back online. I can't tell where the interference is coming from. Watch your partner."
Yep. So Alistair walks Exeter. So we have basically we have the mountain behind us and a river in front of us.
Yep.
Essentially.
And then there's like thick trees everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like other than this clearing that you're standing in.
So Alistair walks the Exeter in front of Eyebright and holds his shield up in a defensive position with a shotgun at the ready. Sort of like moving back and forth, not knowing where. Knowing the enemy is somewhere, but not knowing where.
And what is the Eyebright doing?
I think the Eyebright, there's like a flurry of excitement in the cockpit as Tessa realizes that somebody has cut off their comms or something is jamming their signals, and she draws the Eyebright's laser glaive and activates the blade and
readies.
Yeah, she's trying to cover the Exeter's 6.
Cool. So
are you ready, Tessa?
By the way, I think that it would make sense to me that your mechs would have like speaker megaphone systems.
Okay.
So if you want, you can talk to each other. It's just everyone else will be able to hear you in the combat zone. If whoever else is here, they'll be able to hear what you're saying.
So
because that's probably used for when a mech has to go into a civilian area to be like,
right,
civilians, clear the streets.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or when you ask an enemy to surrender.
So Alistair turns his on and says, "Keep an eye out, Eyebright. We got to find the source of that jam."
I think Eyebright gives the high sign and then does the elaborate hand signal for I'll watch your back.
Sure. Excellent. So you're both sort of standing here looking around this clearing and becoming increasingly aware of the thick trees just beyond your operational zone, like your operational range, because you've got a shotgun and a glaive.
Both have SMGs.
Yeah, you both also have your mech SMGs, but those are not the weapons you said you had at the ready.
Yeah,
right.
You have them on you; they're strapped to your legs or whatever. But yeah, you can grab them if you want to. And then I think we see. I think we see a shell impact a glancing blow against the Exeter. And so Exeter take 1 harm.
Okay.
And then I think Zephyr and Reagan, highlights a section of the map in your HUD where the shot came from, and narrows down where you just got shot from, and you can see that it's over in that clearing, and you can definitely see a mech moving in there.
So I'm going to broadcast. I got eyes on the enemy, and are they close enough for a shotgun?
I don't think they are.
Okay. In that case,
Actually, what are the tags on your gun?
Close, breach, messy, kinetic, 2 harm.
Okay, I thought you might have added far, so no.
No. Okay. So Exeter is going to start advancing on them.
Cool. Do you have your shield at the ready? Are you like advancing slowly behind your shield?
Yeah.
Cool.
Methodically.
Yeah, nice. And what are you doing, Eyebright?
Eyebright is going to follow behind the heavy armor with the maybe we'll switch to the mech SMG since we're going to be fighting at range here.
Sure. I think your glaive is in your offhand, like it's at the ready because your glaive does have quick.
Yeah.
And then you pull the SMG as you walk towards the woods. And then I think you get a very distorted, for a second, a comm burst, and you see that it is an identification code from another mech. Scrolls up in both of your vision.
Is it MacGuffin?
You see, yeah. Is it a MacGuffin? Definitely. No. You see that it is a garbled and distorted McDuff IFF signature. It is the McDuff mech, the Intruder.
I'm going to broadcast my... Oh, I can't. My radio's jammed.
Yeah, the radio's still jammed, so you can't tell if it came from the mech you saw or if it's another code nearby that maybe just managed to get enough power to break through the jamming.
Okay. Did we happen to... I guess... Did I get a good enough look at the mech in the woods to be able to identify its
You only got
model?
enough to know that it is a mech.
Yeah, okay. That's what I figured. Well, I'm gonna keep my eyes open and keep advancing towards it.
Sure. And then I think slightly to the left of the position that you're advancing on, you hear the sound of like machines shifting, and then we see like a bunch of shots come out of the woods, and they hit the ground near your back foot, Exeter, and your front foot, Eyebright, and then they sort of strafe up the middle of the space between you two, forcing the two of you apart.
Yep.
Not by much, but just enough.
Okay.
What do you do?
You go.
Okay. Eyebright activates its jets and takes off into the air into like a somersault, launching toward like a little bit further than the enemy mech or the possible hostile, so that we're flanking.
Sure. So you land in the woods, hopefully behind this mech. And Exeter, do you like turn to face where those shots came from?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. What do you guys do now?
Do we see what did that shooting?
You cannot see it. You know roughly where it should be, and Reagan's narrowed down the spot for you, and Zephyr's also narrowed down where it thinks the mech is. But you don't yet have an outline, which means that it doesn't know the shape of them. Your AIs don't know the shape of the mech yet, and they don't know its exact position. But they have it narrowed down to within 5 meters.
Okay.
10 feet, I think. something like that.
I'm going to. Our Exeter's going to. I'm going to hold the shield up and like football charge through the trees towards the where the shots came from.
Yeah, nice. That sounds like you are trying to deal harm.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So it's time for mayhem.
I'm good at that, maybe. Time for mayhem.
Time for mayhem. When you sling hot lead, swing your blade with precision or abandon, or break limbs in order to cripple the enemy's ability to continue the fight, roll plus violence.
All right. I have a point in that. That is a 10.
Nice. On a 10 plus, pick 2 from the list. So this is the first move on the move list.
So it's
for those of you playing at home, the options are deal harm to the pilot, avoid taking any damage from the enemy, sunder their weapon, deal harm to the mech, take +1 forward, take +1 forward to the next technical or violence attack directed against this enemy. I really need to reword that one because the way it's written does not work very well. Then the way I just said it is not the way it's written. Put them where you want them. Or you could move as one and take +1 synergy. Why does that say synergy?
So that the technical or violence +1, is that the next move I make against them?
The next move anyone makes against them because they're like thrown off.
I think I am going to put them where I want them.
Nice.
And sundering their weapon, would that give it a condition, or would that like knock it out of there?
That means like make their weapon unusable for at least the next like round.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go sunder their weapon.
It might be like, oh, I shoot their, I throw a log into their barrel. Then jammed.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to sunder their weapon and put them where I want them.
Excellent. You take 1 harm.
I do?
Yeah, because you didn't avoid taking damage from the enemy.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So, as you charge forward, shots glance off your shield as you smash through the trees. Reagan narrows down this field of like red light, and then like boom, you see this mech highlighted. You're smashing the trees out of the way. You slam into this mech as the barrel of its like mech sniper rifle slams up against the side of Exeter, and it pulls the trigger once before you smash it out of the way with your other hand, and you see its mech sniper rifle go careening, smashing through trees as you slam it back. Where exactly do you want them? And this doesn't have to be an exact position. This can be like narratively, like I want them to be in a position to be fucked up by Eyebright.
Yeah, basically. So I want them like maybe. I'm assuming for a mech, near on a shotgun is probably like 20 or 30 feet because it's huge.
Yeah,
so probably So probably like 20 feet away from me, in a clearing, so that Eyebright has a shot from above.
Yeah,
and I can also unload on them. So, quick question. So, what benefit? So, the shield gives me +1.
+1 when you defend. So when you describe yourself as defending,
okay, I get a +1 to my roll. Gotcha. Okay,
but it also provides a narrative benefit. Like for example, you slammed through a bunch of trees and you didn't take damage from the trees.
Right. Yeah, it was him.
I did also lower the narrative harm because you had a shield. They only could land 1 shot on you.
Okay. Yeah. So like I knock the gun out of its hand and knock it stumbling back.
Yeah.
And give Eyebright an
so
opening.
it's now like pushed into a very small clearing deeper in the trees. And Eyebright, you see the Exeter like stop as the thing it's charged into goes flying back into the clearing. And the jamming drops as you do this, and then you see the IFF code for that McDuff mech is coming from this thing. It's like broadcasting this IFF code, and you see it like raise its hand as if to say, "Please stop."
All right. In that case, Eyebright, I transmit to it. Identify yourself.
Uh, please, I'm from Clan McDuff. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. We're on the same side. We're on the same side. We've got the same IFFs.
Why did you shoot us?
I thought you were an enemy. I thought you were the one issuing the jamming code.
Wait, you're not jamming us?
No, I'm not jamming you.
Is there any way I can tell if they're lying?
Divine their soul.
Oh, all right.
When you try to connect with someone different to you, share their truth, roll emotion.
All right. I got a +1.
I think I'm going to change that to or know their truth.
Ooh. All right. So with my +1, that gives me a 3.
Ooh, nice. Look, I mean, you know, they're probably some fucking scout from McDuff, and they just got lost out here, and they thought you were the enemy.
Yeah. Exeter. So basically, like Exeter's facing him. He's got his shield up and the shotgun ready to go, and he kind of like lowers both of them a little bit.
I'm gonna ask Zephyr if they can identify the mech that the person is driving. Like,
sure. Roll
what kind? Okay.
You want to know what kind of mech, and also the if it matches the IFF code.
Right. Exactly. Is it something that that Clan McDuff would be using, or is it not their hardware?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. That is a 6.
Ooh, nice. Look, you notice some parts from it that look like Oscario gear, but for the most part it's a McDuff mech, so it might just be that they scavenged weapons from the enemy, or that this thing's been repaired in the field with Oscaro mech parts. Especially if it's a scout, it's probably been operating behind enemy lines, pilot and AI on their own.
Right. All right, so in that case, Eyebright, like lowers its SMG and you know, relaxes its stance, and walks forward into the clearing, and says, "What are you doing out here, McDuff?"
I've just been scouting the area. We had reason to believe that there was a base out here, or that there might be a possibility of somebody setting up an ambush in this area. So I went to circle around and see if anything was going on. That's like the same mission briefing that you guys got, by the way.
Out of character, because we've been failing all these rolls. I have a terrible feeling about this, but character, I'm like, oh yeah.
I mean, there's a base out here. We got to be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, they rerouted me from my previous recon mission to check out this site.
Which who's commanding you, McDuff? We're on patrol with the same orders.
Look, I just take my orders when I get them, you know. It's all war out here. That seems like a very nothing answer to you. Like, I give you that one for free. That's like that. Yeah. Those words didn't mean anything.
Yeah. You don't know who gave you your orders?
Yeah, I got my orders from command. The mech sort of stands up, and you see him like dust himself off. Yeah. It's an interesting mech actually. It's got like it's got a lot of like McDuff plating to it. So it's got like a metal war skirt with like with like a tartan painted on it.
Okay.
And you see like it's got like pretty heavy shoulder pads. You see that it's got that you look over at that gun and it's an Oscario scout rifle, mech scout rifle. There's also like a few little modules and things attached to this thing. You see that apart from its kilt, it has the rest of its paint seems to be like alpine camouflage. Which not the most useful. And you do notice that it has wheels on its feet. Like it still has feet, but you can see wheels on it, which you identify as acceleration gear.
Yeah. So you said the radio jamming stopped like when I hit it?
Yeah.
So if you're not jamming us, then why did it stop as soon as I hit you?
I don't know. Maybe they planted the jammer on me, and I've been chasing a ghost this whole time, which should fucking make me feel like an idiot.
I'm gonna walk over and, or Exeter walks over and picks up his gun.
Yeah, you pick up his scout rifle, and as you walk into the woods to grab his scout rifle, you turn back, and as you turn back, you see a mech knife in its hand, and it's about to jam it up into Eyebright, as Eyebright is like not paying direct attention to this mech. It's about to stab Eyebright.
I would like to shoot it.
Nice, deal some harm.
Yeah.
Do some mayhem. Time for mayhem. Roll 2d10.
Oh, and I've got a +1 from before.
Yeah, you
forward.
do. Because you gave it that +1 forward.
God damn it. So 7.
7? Yeah. On a 7 to 9, pick one.
Which one was that again?
Time for mayhem. It's the top move.
So
you can deal harm.
There it is.
Put them where you want them. Might do.
Sunder
their weapon again. You only get to pick one though, because you got 7 to 9.
Yeah. What do you think, Ryan? Deal harm or sunder their weapon?
I would say deal harm.
Yeah. So Exeter turns around, holding the rifle, and just whips up his shotgun, and boom! And so I'm going to deal harm.
Yeah, brilliant. What's the harm of your mech?
2 harm. I
Two
shot
harm?
it.
Nice.
Yes. It's also messy. I don't think that would have really applied.
Yeah.
To
So, you blast it back. Ryan, take 1 harm to Eyebright, as some of the pellets from that mech shotgun hit you. And we see all half the panels on this mech scatter into the forest, and it falls back, and it rolls, throws the knife into its other hand, and then you see those wheels on its feet spin up, and it charges forward at the Eyebright.
All right, Eyebright is bringing that glaive around so that it charges straight into my pole arm.
Nice. Time for mayhem. Roll me 2d10.
And you got a +1 for this roll. Because of our bonus from when we loaded out.
I mean, I think you mean 2d6, but I
Yes, sorry.
No, you get 10 because you're special.
I also got a 7.
Nice. So, pick one from the list.
Oh, God. I am gonna say, I'm gonna say that I put them where I want them.
Nice.
So this Oscaro mech charges at me. I bring my glaive up, and maybe it has to skid and break its break its stride and maybe it falls forward into more of an uncontrolled skid than a run in order to dodge my blade. But it's basically prone now.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Um,
Also, I think I'm gonna collapse the next technical or violence move thing. I think I'm gonna just collapse that into the same thing as put you where you want them.
okay.
And I think that'll make
Oh,
the
okay.
wording better. But I'll do that after this. So yeah, you're taking put them where you want them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're like sprawled on the ground or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So
like
as they like skid past you, sort of just dodging your glaive, their knife like scrapes against the Eyebright's armor, and you take one harm.
Right.
And then it like eats the dirt. But you have put it where you want it.
Now, why'd you do that? And Exeter walked forward and shoots it again.
Nice. I don't think that we need to roll for that. I think you just deal your harm, and you just put your shotgun to its armor and blast it, and you just see it go. Are you trying to kill the pilot or the mech?
Just the mech.
Cool. So you just blast at it, at its like joints, and
Yeah.
this thing is just wrecked. And then you see the cockpit blow, and the pilot like puts their hands up, and you see somebody in like a sleek, form-fitting, Oscaro uniform, inside this mech as they put their hands up.
Exeter like crouches down in front of him and turns on the speakers again. So is this what you guys are doing now? Pretending to be Macduff and going on patrols?
Look, man, I'm just doing my job, okay? I got 5 kids to feed.
Sure, they're
What are
probably gonna want to interrogate him back at tactical.
Yeah, but then we got to carry him back.
You could contact command and ask them what they want you to do.
Well, our signals aren't being jammed anymore, so yeah, I'll radio back to tactical and say that we ran across an Oscaro mech on patrol disguised as a Macduff. It had the Macduff IFF signal, but it drew on me, and we've disarmed its mech and captured the pilot. Please advise.
Be advised, recon team. We have scavenger rights as part of our contract with Macduff. So if you wish to take salvage from that mech, that is you may do that as your leisure. But be known that the prisoner is to be handed over to the Macduff military for interrogation at their leisure. So you will need to bring that prisoner in alive.
All right. Well, you may have 5 kids to feed, guy, but you're a prisoner of war now. So I would.
Excellent. Shall we make the scavenge move?
No, sure. I didn't see that move.
It's down the bottom. It's one of the special moves. Salvage rights. After battle, ask tactical if you have enough time to run reclamation operations. You do.
Hey, tactical. Okay.
If the answer is yes, roll plus tactical. On a 10 plus, pick 2. On a 7 to 9, pick 1. On a miss, pick none. So you may each do this. Who's going first?
Why don't you go first?
All right. My technical is 0, so this will be good. It won't. I rolled a 3.
All right. You pick none.
Woo!
Actually, I changed that to on a miss. On a miss, you find something confronting in the wreckage, so I'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's see what Ryan got.
All right, so go picking through the mech. I got an 11.
Nice. Pick 2.
All right. One of you shares a positive revelation about the battle you just fought, +1 to synergy.
One of you would be either the pilot or the AI. in that.
Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna go with Zephyr shares a positive revelation about the battle we just fought, so that our synergy increases.
Yes.
And I'm also going to pick, we pull access codes and uncover enemy positions, discover weaknesses in their designs, or another leader advantage. So maybe we have the enemy positions now.
Sweet. So I think that means our next mission will be an assault on one of their positions. So I'll write that down. Assault intel.
And Zephyr says, what is it? Positive revelation about the battle you just fought.
Yeah.
Oh, Tessa, that was so exciting. You were amazing.
It was, wasn't it? You were great.
The way when he was coming at you and you batted him away with the glaive, that was, oh wow.
I couldn't have done it without knowing that you were there for me.
Well, I was just glad to help. We make a good team.
We do. Ding the pain a little, but we got through our first mission. Partially.
That's all right. Paint can be repainted.
Nice. Take +1 synergy. So your synergy is now 1.
Sweet.
Nice. Also, I think on... No. Right. Yeah. I was going to say on Time for Mayhem, I think you take a synergy, but no. I think I will change that from move as 1, take +1 synergy to take +1 synergy when you get a 10. So let's do that. And yeah, if you got it, yeah, and that'll be in effect next time. Take +1 to synergy. Cool. Yeah, nice. So you chose... Yeah, you chose to share a revelation, and what was the other one you picked?
The intel.
Oh, and intel.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
I pulled their positions out of the
nice.
Computer or whatever.
Cool. And yeah, so I think as he's pulling running the access codes and stealing data from the mech, Alistair, you are looking at the tartan pattern on this mech, and you recognize the tartan pattern. And then you turn over the panel as you pick it up, and you see a serial number. And Reagan runs the serial number for you, and she says, oh, I'm so sorry, Alistair.
Who was it?
Ryan, this is somebody that Reagan and Alistair have fought with before, as in on the Macduff side. They'd fought together with the mech that these parts were taken from. So if you'd like to take over the role-playing of this from here.
Okay. It was Doug.
God damn it.
Yeah. My files say that he was to be rotated out of this sector.
Yeah, he was. Alistair turns his like external mics back on. Where'd you get the Macduff parts for this mech?
What?
Where did you get the Macduff parts for the mech?
I mean, we got them from lots of places, you know. You just take them off the mechs that you take down. Standard salvage, reclamation ops.
Do I know in character like what's the Osaka whatever
Oscaro.
Oscara. I came up with the name too.
Oscaro take no prisoners.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Of course they don't.
Yeah.
Clan Macduff takes prisoners, but they also torture people. So, you know, it's not... Oscaro takes no prisoners. Clan Macduff takes prisoners and likes to torture them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and keep it. Neither one of these sides is the moral high ground.
So, also out of character, then,
Mhm.
something like the mech shotgun that does 2 harm to a mech
Yes,
is like instant kill on a person, right?
for sure.
Okay. And the synergy is between the pilot and the AI.
Yes, it's how connected you are. I'm thinking I might change that so that it doesn't take you a -1 from your synergy. But for now, it is a -1 to your synergy.
No, that's fine. I'm just thinking. Exeter stands up because they were kind of like squatting in front of the fall mech.
Actually, I am going to change it now. It doesn't give you a -1 to the synergy your synergy. The pilot takes a condition.
Oh, okay.
And that condition is going to be
Enraged.
I was going to say bereaved.
Okay.
You and Doug had a strong connection.
Okay.
You fought well together. So make note that you have the bereaved condition.
Yes. So Alistair sighs as the Exeter stands up. Why'd you have to do that?
What do you do?
I'm gonna flip over the other pieces and see if there's any other serial numbers on them.
Yeah, I think you notice that on the armor that they put onto this Oscaro mech to make it look like a MacDuff mech, you spot parts from at least 3 different mechs. You recognize the serial, or rather, Regan finds the serial numbers for all of them, and you fought with all of them, but Doug was the one that you had the strongest connection with. The others were good people. Like, everybody in this war is good people, but like, you all do horrible shit.
So Alistair takes those parts of the serial numbers, kind of like dog tags, and because we've established, he's got like mesh netting all over, so he just kind of
So you take that piece of the tartan, and then you take one of the shoulder pads, and then you take this back plate for the hand.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, no. You take a piece of the face mask of the mech.
All right, guy, get back in your cockpit.
What?
Get back in your cockpit.
I think Eyebright picks this up as you watch. Yeah, like he's climbing back into the cockpit, and I think that's when Eyebright notices it.
Sir?
What?
His mech's disabled. We're not going to be able to get him back to base in that.
I'll show you a trick. So once he climbs back in, the Exeter takes the door and slams it shut, so it kind of jams. And then takes a few minutes to just rip the limbs off the mech. So it's just like the cockpit. I'm assuming the cockpit's in the torso.
You're turning the cockpit into a prison, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And gives it a few good whacks to dent it so he can't open the door while we're walking. And then it picks it up. There we go. Now he won't squirm.
I fully thought you were going to murder that guy.
Yeah, so did I.
I thought you were going to kill him in the cockpit and stage it as, oh, sorry, we thought he was still alive, but then we opened the cockpit.
I was thinking of it, and then you gave me the bereaved condition instead, and I decided that Alistair wasn't he's upset, but he's been at this long enough, so it's another one. Can't like you said, everyone does shitty things. It could just as easily have been him in that cockpit, So,
and then I think we return to base. So you guys pulled no salvage out of the mechs in terms of modules and stuff. So no extra gear there. And now we have the last move of the game, and then we'll end this session. So the last move of this session is after battle, you and your AI debrief, run repairs, and heal up. So roll plus your synergy, and then pick what you're doing, and then we'll narrate. What that looks like. So who would like to go first for We Made It?
You can go first, Ryan.
All right, I'll do it.
So roll plus synergy.
I got a 7.
Nice. On a 7 to 9, pick one from the list. You can remove 1 harm from the pilot, remove 1 harm from your mech, or clear a condition.
All right. I'm going to remove 1 harm from my mech.
Nice. Either way, the pilot or AI share a fear, a memory, or an insight. Take +1 synergy. So who is sharing?
I will... Tessa says to Zephyr, I wasn't sure about Alistair there for a moment. I thought that Exeter was going to wax that guy.
So did I, and that would be a flagrant violation of the rules of combat.
Maybe Exeter isn't such a bad partner after all.
They did protect you.
They did.
Yeah, that can be enough.
I guess no, they protected us actually.
They protected us.
Yeah.
So I guess in that case, then I was going to say that maybe Eyebright opens a channel to Exeter and just says we just wanted to say thanks for having our back out there.
Of course, we're partners now.
Nice. So take +1 synergy, Ryan.
Okay.
And then we will switch to the Exeter. So yeah, we've returned to base. You're in your little combat base. So roll me 2d6 plus your synergy.
That is a 6.
Okay.
My dice either roll well or don't. So
yeah. On a
I don't clear anything.
On a miss, tick none.
Yep.
But you do still take +1 synergy because you got through a battle together.
Okay.
And either the pilot or the AI shares a fear, a memory, or an insight. The memory, by the way, doesn't have to be from that battle. It can be from in the past, so you could be drawing parallels.
Okay. So Alistair's going to share a memory.
Cool.
So he we get back to base. He climbs out of the mech, and he tells I'm assuming there's other people who come to handle reloading stuff and clean it out. Indeed. And he tells them, he points out the 3 McDuff things and tells them to make sure they get back to the McDuff people, for the serial numbers. Mm-hmm. And he walks to the mess and goes to the bar and pours out 2 drinks.
I was going to say, there wouldn't be a bar, but then I'm like, this is a fucking mercenary camp. There's a bar.
Yeah.
A bar that probably serves cocaine.
Or if there's no bar, then he goes back to his bunk and there's a bottle. But
yeah, no, I definitely think there's a bar. It's a mercenary company. There's a fucking bar.
Yeah, that's true. So he gets 2 drinks and he sits down. Remember the first time we met Doug?
I do. He was just like that Tessa over there. All young and full of enthusiasm.
Yeah, he was a good kid.
What was your relationship to Doug's AI?
Are you asking me or Ryan?
I'm asking both of you.
So the AI thing, that's every mech? That's not just us?
We haven't established in our setting yet whether all mechs have AIs or whether your mechs have AIs and others do not.
I was actually going to ask about that before because we have salvage rights on that mech. What happens to the AI? Like,
If
does
the
it just
mech
like...
is down, then the AI is down. Like if the mech's destroyed, the AI is gone.
Okay.
It's
I was
not
going to say,
the AI cannot be salvaged after a mech has been totally destroyed.
okay.
There's a
I was gonna...
move. There's a move for the AI emergency dumping its core into the net, basically.
Okay.
But
I was gonna
yeah,
say, is there like a black box or something that we can recover with the consciousness on it, or...
I don't. Not the AI's consciousness,
All
and
right.
it would have been the Oscario mech's AI either way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I figured that.
It's perfectly fine to say you didn't have much of a relationship with it.
Yeah, I feel like a pilot wouldn't necessarily have much of a relationship with another pilot's AI.
Yeah,
Just
that's what I was.
at least how we've done it so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's her face? Reagan might have had a more of a relationship with
Yeah,
Doug's
the AIs probably like communicate with each other really quickly to like share tactical data and battlefield positions and whatnot.
Sure.
Um.
I think somebody walks into the bar and is about to sit on the seat where next to you, and then sees the drink there and like scooches down the bar.
Yeah.
Like whoop whoop. It's not another pilot. It's like another grunt, and they see you and they see the drink and realize, oh, hang on, this is a pilot. They're probably on a date with their AI or something.
Sure. That's not why I poured out two. Well, I poured out one for Doug.
I figured one was for Doug, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's either the pilot's on a date with their AI, or that's a drink for a dead person. Either way, I'm not sitting next to them and starting up a chat.
Either way, not taking that seat.
This is not the appropriate time to ask Alistair if he will take me on as an apprentice.
Yeah. So Alistair sighs. We have to make sure that doesn't happen to Tessa either. She's a good one.
It seems so.
Little cocksure, probably a little too eager to jump into trouble and a little too by the book, but that could all be beaten out of her.
Don't worry, we'll watch her. And well, I can't say that I approve of you having a drink, but under the circumstances, I understand.
And is that the scene?
I was gonna say, do you want one?
I could use one.
So Alistair uses his watch to download whatever. What is Regan's drink?
Yeah, what is Regan's drink?
She's just trying different foods and stuff, and she has. I think I'll try absinthe.
Yeah, you boot up the absinthe protocol.
Okay. I make sure to add the Sugar Cube DLC.
Yeah. Damn Sugar Cube DLC.
That's a surcharge.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, nice. So did you mark the +1 synergy for
I did,
that?
yes.
Cool. Excellent. And that is our first session. So we'll play again next week. We'll organize the date for that in the in our private email chat that we've got going for this, and I'll try and type up the notes and everything for you I'll try and do that on Monday. Monday your time. But yeah, what did you guys think? Did you enjoy it so far?
Yeah, I like it.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like
It's a cool idea.
I like the tonal dissonance between like the close bond relationships that the pilots have with their AIs and you know the war torn like profiteering setting that we've established. It's very much like, you know, we're all trying to hang on to our humanity in this horrible bullshit. And
yeah, so the pilot death move has a line that I quite enjoy. Which we haven't seen yet, and maybe we won't see it. But and also there'll be an opportunity to heal at the beginning of the next session, because when you use the suit up move again, you'll be able to clear conditions and stuff. But the the pilot death move, I'll go first, is when your pilot must take one more harm but can't, roll. Just roll. On a 10 plus, they are reminded what they are fighting for. Sorry, you are reminded what you are fighting for. Clear one harm and continue. On the 7 to 9, tactical will tell you what you must sacrifice to survive. On a miss, you're dead.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's pretty brutal.
remind them what they're fighting for, and then it's like, fuck, I can't die here. I can't die in this place.
Yeah, I like that.
What about all the children in the orphanage? Or whatever it is you're fighting for.
Where'd you get the title of that one from? I'll go first.
That happens a lot in Iron Blooded Orphans, where somebody's like dying and they're like, I'll go first. But it also happens in lots of stuff where it's like, oh, I'll go on ahead, like I'll go to the gates of hell and make sure that will be fine as I wait for you. And then the mech one is called I Know Why You Cry. I know now why you cry.
Terminator, yeah.
Yeah, because I like Terminator.
Of course.
But yeah, I think we'll leave it
really
there. Did anybody want to do any shout-outs or anything? Or say anything?
If anyone's watching, we're probably going to be doing a Patreon live stream next Wednesday.
Yeah, and we don't know when that'll come out in relation to when this is released. But if you're watching the live stream of our show next Wednesday, US East Coast time, we're going to be doing a live stream.
If you're watching this later, then sorry.
Yeah, indeed.
We'll be playing second edition Eclipse Phase.
Oh, nice! Second edition Eclipse Phase. Cool. I got to play that recently, actually.
Is it good?
It's all right. I don't mind it. I like it a lot more having played it than I did when I first read about the second edition changes. There are a lot of them where I'm like, I get why you did this, but also, why did you do this? Things to do with initiative, because I just generally don't like initiative in games. As you can see, there's no initiative mechanic in my game.
There's not.
Yeah, cool. Fantastic. So yeah, please check out Rag-NERD-Rok. They're another.
Do that too.
They're another actual play podcast. Their stuff tends to have a lot. They tend to do a lot of lighter in tone games, but they do some serious games as well. Their episodes tend to be lighter in tone. They obviously play fucking horror games like Eclipse Phase and Delta Green and stuff.
Well, that Eclipse Phase game where we had a sleepover.
Yeah, good.
I'm pretty sure there's more than one of those.
But yeah, they do some wonderful work. I really love their Fiasco scenarios, so please check out their Fiasco games. And thank you for listening to us. And I hope that you would come back for the future episodes of Live, Love, Die. Please check out the other Powered by the Apocalypse games we've played. I would highly recommend that you check out our Night Witches game, which is just a fantastic game in general, and has an all-female cast for that episode. Or an all-lady cast, at the very least. Other than that, please let us know what you thought of this game and what you thought of my RPG, Live, Love, Die. This is the first time it's not the first time we've played it's the first time we've played a tabletop RPG that I've written. We did play a LARP of mine on the stream, on the show once before. So let us know what you thought of it, and let us know what you thought of this episode. But other than that, farewell from the past. I'm Ray.